to navigate so many things. How do you do that as a caregiver?
So even in my coaching program, what I had to do was, the first thing was I had to learn how to breathe. I didn't understand time management is one of the things I help professional caregivers with. And I share these tips because when you wake up in 24 hours, it's how you command your day. So
Time out. Nope. Time out. Nope. You got to repeat that. That was good. What?
Okay.
No. Say that one more time. When you wake up, go ahead.
When you wake up in the morning, there's 24 hours in a day, but it's up to you how you command your day.
How you command your day. Not let the day command you, but you command the day.
I used to let the day command me. Now the day.
Got it.
Yeah, with time management. And time management was something I knew nothing about. So when I started learning about time management, and let's back up. I'm going to walk them through my process of the beginning. And even what I teach in my coaching program, what happens is I was stuck. I had no clue how to find me. And I think somebody tapped me on the shoulder and say, sis, you're falling apart. Like I had no clue. I'm just moving. I'm moving. And I literally had to look in the mirror. And when I looked in the mirror, I just cried. And so where do you go from there? What do you do when you still got to care for these people? You still got to make appointments. The first thing I did was I looked for help. There is help out there. You're not alone. The caregivers have an amazing community.
Okay.
I never knew that. I didn't
know that either. Yeah, I didn't know that either.
It was out there. But I just didn't take time to even. I'm on social media. I'm going to doctor's appointment. There are pamphlets right in front of me, and I never asked for help. So
wait. You were going to doctor's appointments, and there were pamphlets about assisting caregivers, and you didn't notice them. It could literally be, the help could literally be right there in front of us, and we could miss it if we're not looking for it. If we don't know. We don't know. It was
right in front of my face. It was there. It was just a matter of, as I'm talking to the doctor about my mother, my son. My mother died with 2 types of cancer, but I'm talking, and they're saying, if you need support, and it's a pamphlet, and I get the pamphlet, and I stick it in the stuff with all the rest of it. Never read it.
Never read it.
Until 8 years later, I'm going through stuff.
Wow. Are you kidding me? Seriously? But you were moving at such a pace, you didn't even recognize you were falling apart. You were moving at such a pace you didn't even see until somebody brought it to your attention. Caregivers that contacted me, they can relate to what you're saying.
Yes.
But I'm going to go back to what you said at the very beginning. And we also talked about it in the show prep. Look, there are people that become caregivers and they never planned on it. Let alone prepared for it. Let alone prepare for it, plan for it, let alone they have the funds to do it. So what are we talking about? Somebody that's never done this before is, at least in my opinion, limited as it may be, they may need to get some coaching, right?
I'm going to say I started meeting people during COVID that never understood why I had to become a caregiver, but I understand because this is my loved one. And I didn't suggest coaching. I suggested, you know what, let's get resources. Let's see where not only you can give help, but you can get help.
Got it.
And it looked different for each and every person. I've interviewed people. I have sat down and just kind of say, look, here's some nuggets for you to just breathe. And I think I shared just out of simplicity, not as a life coach, not as coaching, as a woman, a mother, and somebody who was there. I said, listen, just take a deep breath. And when I said that, I can assure you about 5 people in different times broke down crying.
Wow.
Tears, the heaviness, the emotional weight. Yeah, it was a lot. So I want to tell all my caregivers out there who only became a caregiver just in COVID, you are not alone. And before you say, oh, I got to go get a coach or I got to go get I want you to just stop in the moment. And I want you to see, because some of it is long-term care, some of it short-term care, some of it is until you can get them to a facility, or maybe just because of COVID and now you're no longer in that space. Yeah. So it's going to look different for each and every caregiver. So
how do they navigate? Well, they're gonna know how to assess that and navigate how to assess that based upon how the how the person that they're giving care to is doing. They're gonna know whether they need to go to a facility, where they need to do this or that. How does a person who's never done this before, let's say me, I'm in a position where I then now have to take care of somebody. I'm using myself as an example. I'm trying to organize everything and still go to work and still try to make it happen and still, well, I can't really hold on to the life I had before, right? I have to make major adjustments to my priority.
Yeah.
Do you help people learn how to do that? Are there resources to help people to learn time management and how to prioritize their life? Well, maybe they're 45, 50, and now all of a sudden they're a caregiver, and maybe they lost their job too. Those are some of the things. I'm just telling you a lot of different things that people wrote me. So I'm kind of bouncing that all and throwing it at your feet. What do you say?
So I say that each case by case, and we talked about that because there are different types of caregivers, and they're professional caregivers. So because we're talking about you, the first thing I want you to do, because we're trying to make sure you can handle what has fell on your plate.
Got it.
And so what has fell on your plate, you're going to go to work and you're going to tell them, and this is 90% of the time what happens, I need some time off because I got to get my loved one together.
Yeah,
I need to get them situated.
So
now it depends on what type of job. I work for the school board. And so when you go to your job, they say, okay, take all the time you need or take 3 days or a week. So now the next call is still on you, because this is something that you're going to have to make that decision. I'm all in. And if you can't make that decision that I'm all in, and you kind of say, I don't know if I can do this, that person who you have to take care of, then the next call will be saying, I'm going to ask the doctor, like, what are my options? Because I don't know if I can do this, or I want to do this. So then
I'm going to back you up before. Please remember where you're about to go next. But so what you're saying is, it's not about sitting down trying to brainstorm and come up with this great elaborate plan to take over the world and handle this situation, which many guys can try to do, but instead it's literally going to your job and putting it in its place, and what you have to work, what you have that you can work with from them, how many days you can take off, and then looking at the resources that you have to make it happen. But you can't do really any of that unless you're going to be all in, right? A person has to make up their mind.
Yeah, and we're talking about you now. So remember, we started this part of the conversation.
Yeah, me.
If you
I have to be all in.
Yeah, you had to be all in, because if you said that this is not going to be for me, I'm not going to be able to take on this, then it's a different type of conversation. So I'm watching. There are caregiver coaches on this line. There are therapists on this line today, and they can tell you the same thing. Yeah. It really depends on what your decision is going to be when it comes to the role of being a caretaker, caregiver, or how you're going to maneuver.
Whichever way I've got to maneuver, I still got to be all in. I got to be committed, no matter what position I take. Okay, so let's say I'm all in. Let's say I'm all in. Now remember, this is something that fell into. It's on my plate. I'm all in. Now I'm all in. What is it looking like now? What options are in front of me now? What do I go and do? So
now this is where we start getting the resources. This is where we start, lining up things for you, because it's going to be a situation where now they're telling you're going to have to do X, Y, and Z for the doctors, for your loved one. And let's just say it's your father. You okay? So let's just say it's your father. And so now you're.
I'm okay. I'm okay. You get to do all the talking. I just got to keep it going. Go ahead. I got the easy job.
So you're taking care of your dad, and you've decided to be all in. So now they're going to come and tell you what they need from you as it relates to taking care of your dad, because that's the first thing. Because when you got the call, they're going to need your help to take care of your dad, or your dad's in a hospital.
Whatever it may be. Right.
You make
right.
the decision to be all in. And then when you said, okay, now what do you need from me? Once you got those instructions, now you go home, you sit down, and you're starting to think, okay, what happens to my life?
Yeah, that's true.
Know, what's going to happen to me? How do I maneuver? Where do I go from here? You know, most of the time you don't call your family, you don't call your friends, you don't know to get that lifeline, that support group, that support. You know, you have to put that in place, because this is all new to you. You know,
right?
And even if the doctor give you resources, you still are stuck trying to process what just happened. So
you got love on the screen, by the way. If you kind of look at it, you get
that's my son. He don't count. That's my son.
Hey, oh, that's messed up. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay. But your son is this the one that was there right before we started the show?
It's not. And he disappeared. So I noticed my light went out over here. And I'm like, what happened to my
You go like, hey, where my production crew? Get back over here. Get my production crew.
Walked away.
Walked away. Didn't check.
Okay.
Yeah. He's like,
okay, you know
what? You got the doc is paid. You got the doc.
I try to work in transparency. And this has been a busy month for us because of the mental illness awareness. So I've been keeping him busy. And I love the fact that he stayed grounded because of the fact that he wants to bring awareness to the mental illness. And so that's been a behind the scenes journey this month that we've been just staying present.
Beautiful. Yeah. When it comes to being committed, I have to be all in. I also have to be a person who's ready to look at whatever resources they're going to be offered by. I have to ask what would the physicians or anyone else need from me to do. I need to be able to process that, put that into place, sit down, and then I have to really look at, well, because it's going to be normal. Okay, what about the life that I have right now? What the trajectory and where I'm going? What am I going to do now? I have to be realistic, right?
That's correct.
I'm all in, I have to be realistic, and I have to be self-sacrificing with my time and with my energies to make sure, as a caregiver, I'm still all in. Is that the way am I looking at it right? Or go ahead and correct me if I'm saying it wrong. Correct me.
What happens when you know, and this is what has been happening on my watch. You know, and if anybody have any comments or questions, drop it in the chat, because
hey, your son got a comment. He kind of hurt. You said I don't count. I just noticed he put that up there. I see it on my screen over here. All right, go ahead.
For me, I want to say, when I get a email, phone call, text, somebody go on my website and they come to me and they're saying, you know, I need help. I just became a caregiver overnight. I was not a caregiver. Now I got to adjust my life. What do I do? I come in and again, we're talking about somebody like you. You just took a leave of absence from your job, and you might have took 2 weeks. And then they say, after the 2 weeks, we're not going to pay you. We're not going to pay you.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, that can happen.
That can happen.
So now there are resources out there that pay you to be a caregiver. There are nonprofits out there. I'm getting on weekly places where they're talking about different types of webinars, different types of ways to adjust as being a caregiver. So I'm finding all the free stuff. So now we're getting you the resources where you can go for free, because you want to be able to say, not necessarily, I just want to mentally process what's happening to me, emotionally process what's happening to me. But when you get to me, you may say, but I don't want this to affect me moving on and finding a way to balance it all, because I still got goals. I still have dreams. I still have dreams. And so then I come in and I say, okay, let's structure some things. Let's set up so you can have a different look at this, so you can have boundaries. I talked about boundaries just in a conference this weekend with the caregiver and the person that's taking care of your loved one, because you may bring a team of nurses or RNs or home health care assistants in. Now you want to make sure you guys have a healthy relationship to establish the set boundaries.
Yeah.
So we still have to talk about timelines and time management, so that you can stay in the space for you and not be overwhelmed. And I want to give any room for questions, but I do have a story about a caregiver.
Yeah, please. Yes. Go ahead.
I was contacted by a client, and she found me on a website, and she asked me to fly in to her state to come in the middle of COVID to help her. She had a special need disabled son, and he was an adult, but he could not walk with everything else that he had going on. And she asked me to come and help her set some guidelines so she could take her life back. And I was
guidelines with who? Guidelines with the son or with the caregiver team?
Let me take that back. I want to take that back. She wanted to set boundaries. That's the word.
Got it. Boundaries.
Because she felt like she was losing herself, and she wanted to take her power back. And she didn't even realize till it was too far gone that she had lost in touch with who she was. She had been doing this for a minute.
Wow.
She had her own health problems. It had gotten so bad that she was afraid to go to the doctor because she didn't want to be away from the son with round-the-clock care. I mean, round-the-clock care.
Her own health was getting bad, though.
But she had round-the-clock care for her son. And so I came in town, I set up, I did my COVID test, I made sure I sent her my results, I did everything, because you're talking about a family that has round-the-clock care, nurses coming in, so I wanted to be safe, and I wanted to make sure they were safe because I wanted to meet somewhere else. But I said, no, I want to go to her home and see what's going on, because I'm COVID-free. So let's see how this is going to work. And I wanted to look to see exactly. So we went over our consultation before, I got there, and she told me some of the things she wanted to do and set in place. And we were on day 2 of just putting some things in place of sessions, and we could do virtually and getting some things. And she wanted to start a business from home, beautiful home, and carve out a space. So we talked about it. She took notes. We wrote down some things, how she can get time management, and being in her home even helped me because I can look around. I could see areas and spaces that she can make her own while the nurses are taking care of her son. And even one of the nurses said, I'm so glad you're here because we need her to get out of the way so that we can do our job.
I could see that, though. I could see where I could get in the way if that happened and I have a team of people. If we're not paying attention, we can be overly protective and get overly involved, and we need to maybe we need a boundary on ourselves. I would need a boundary on myself so they can do what they need to do.
I agree. And so that's what happened. And the last day we were wrapping it up, and I gave her, she signed up for, she had already signed up for the program. She actually did extra. And, for me to fly out, of course, she did extra. And so it was so refreshing that she was so excited. And then the last day I was there, she caught a stroke.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, it was a seizure, and she was going into a stroke.
Oh, wow.
And so they called 911 while I was there, and she's still maneuvering. Now, I want everybody to hear this. This is how resilient and strong she was as a caregiver. One side of her right side of her body was down, and she was speaking from the left side of her body over here. Wow. And she was telling us, put her keys in her purse, put the charger in the purse. Like, she could not move. You can see her shaking, and I'm looking, 911 is coming in. They're used to it. They're used to it. They've been to the house just a couple of weeks before. So I'm looking like, what's happening? And she's still telling us, put the medicines over there. This is okay.
Still running the show. She's still running the show.
my God.
She committed. She was committed. She's
Listen,
all
I got
in.
on that plane and I said, God, I will live and not die. I would live and And I say that because I told her when everything was over, I contacted her, I checked with her family, I made sure she was okay. And she finally was able to call me. And I said, you're gonna die if you don't get out the way. You're gonna die if you don't make time for yourself. You're gonna die if you don't find a way to set some boundaries and get out of the way of the nurses so that they could do their job. So that was a story. But then when I talked to her, wait, let me say this last little part.
Yes,
Talking to her 2 months later, she implemented everything I said, redid her.
Oh, good
Oh
news.
my God.
That's good.
Everybody's so happy for her. She's started a business. She's making tumblers, and I'm so proud of her. And I purchased the tumbler. I thought I had it sitting right here, but it's beautiful. And now she has a space, and the nurses can't get her out of her office.
Look at that. Because you said at the beginning when you're talking about yourself, a person could, if that happened to me, I could lose myself in that process of being a caregiver 24/7 even. Even when there's a team of people, I could literally get in the way. And that's going to be hard for a lot of people, especially if they worked in the corporate world or they had a job or if they were a boss and now all of a sudden they have time off or taking time off. They decided to work from home and now they want to micromanage everything. And you're saying that's a little too much because we could run ourselves into the ground.
Yes. Yes. And I did. So I know what it's like. So I love the fact that I get to be the expert in a way on so many levels because I've been doing this since he was 4 and he's 21, about to be 22. But I didn't even realize that I was caring for people way before I was caring for my son. And so it hit me. And then I did a video for a caregiver's trailer that I did for a event we had. And I said, my grandmother was a caregiver. My great grandmother was a caregiver.
You got lineage.
Yeah. They both were nurses. They both were nurses. Yeah. So that's what it was. My great grandmother was a nurse. My grandmother was a nurse. And then I say, being a caregiver is in my DNA. Okay.
You got legacy, as they say out here on the West Coast. You got legacy. You striking up a whole chain of you guys are like Mattel cranking out stuff. You like GM. You cranking out cranking out caregivers. I have to. Well, there's 3 things I want to make sure I get in before we have to go our way today. So bear with me. I'm going to touch on a couple of things. Well, here we go. Mental Health Awareness Month. Now, you talked about a couple of things so far, but what I want to touch on is your page. Can you please, just for the sake of the record, tell everybody what your Instagram page is, how they can find you, your Instagram page?
So you can find me on Instagram as I am Coach Amazing without the G, because God is amazing and I'm amazing. Okay.
So I'm just going to ask now, that's not the only place they can find you because you and I connected. I reached out to you from my Twitter account because you're also on Twitter, illuminating Twitter with your caregiving ways, which are really, really good. How can they find you on Twitter?
So I am Coach Amazing on Twitter. I try to make it simple so that
if they can't find you after that, I don't know how we can help them if they can't. That's so simple. They can do that. You are a caregiver's coach. Excuse me, I said that wrong. Please forgive me. You are the caregiver's coach. Okay, so now give me a high five. Give me a high five. Come on, give me a high five. There we go. I said it wrong. We got that right. You are the caregiver's coach. Not only that, you are also a certified life coach. But I'm not done. Not only that, but you are also an author, a speaker. You are a woman empowerment individual who is the founder of Amazingly Taking Your Power Back. I have just lost every ounce of energy that I could have in my tongue because after saying all of that, just like totally. No, I'm just kidding. Listen, okay, here we go. I've been waiting for us to do our show because I want to touch on these things that I just looked at yesterday. So here we go. First one, I'm going to read this, and I want you to, you know, expand on what you put here. It's a posting that you made 3 days ago. Today's self-care list: breathe, listen to my heart, practice kindness, be productive yet calm, let go of what I cannot control, enjoy a cup of tea. And then the last one is be grateful. Now, that's what you have as a posting on your page. But give me a moment here. You make sure to let people know that they need to breathe and be grateful. Yes, there are other things in between. I just highlighted them. But I want you to expand on those two things. Why is it important for us to be mindful that we breathe and that we be grateful?
So you would think that saying just breathe, and that has been my campaign for the last 3 months. And I'm gonna tell you, when COVID came last year, a lot of people started having respiratory issues. I had respiratory issues a couple of years ago in 2015. After being a hairdresser for 33 years, my lungs collapsed. And so, of course, when COVID came, I was like frantic.
Yeah, right.
And I realized what it was like to just take a deep breath and breathe. And I have a therapist as well. And my therapist told me, she said, Angela, I just need you to breathe.
Yeah.
And I told her, I said, I struggle with breathing sometimes. And so as things started calming down in my life and things started getting clear, and I started doing breathing exercises, just simplicity, going away from everybody, sitting in a space by myself, sitting in my car and just taking deep breaths in and out. I said, oh my God, this is amazing. But when I say just breathe, some people say, yeah, easier said than done. Who has time to breathe? I have to do all this stuff. I've been there. So I know what it's like to just say, take a deep breath and just stop and breathe. And so I'm doing a book, Dear Caregivers, Just Breathe, because it's an ebook, and I'm so excited because it's so much attached to you just taking time out to just take a deep breath and breathe. It's going to be okay, and calm down, because the overwhelming part of being so just all over the place, your emotions are everywhere.
Yeah, just freaking out.
Now your emotions are high. Now your pressure is up. Now your health is in trouble. Now you still have to make these decisions, but if something happened to you, they still have to be made.
They still have to be, yeah. Right. And my father would say, you still got that bill if you're in the ground.
That's correct.
They just not going to come for the money. That's all.
Yes.
The bill's going to be there whether you're on top of the ground or in the ground. So what you going to do? Freak out? Because when they can't come get the money, they're going to leave you alone. So, you do what you can, and that's all you can do. But the importance of being grateful listed that you have there, how has that been helpful to you with the mental health challenges that your son faces, and you've been there supporting him and being his caregiver? How has being grateful been something beneficial to you?
So I'm going to talk about an organization called NAMI. And NAMI is a mental health association, mental health awareness association. I think I may be saying it wrong, but I joined NAMI when my son was in elementary school. And I learned all of the medications, the codes, and all of this was free.
Wow.
And there were other organizations, but it was something about NAMI that the people took me in. So I got to see families, and it was support groups, and I became a peer-to-peer specialist so I can learn how to cope. And I took off work for a couple of weeks because I wanted to take these classes and learn how to understand mental illness. And I did. And so even in that moment, I can say for me, I had a village. I didn't do it alone. And having that village was everybody from the therapist, the social worker, the counselors. I just had so many people that, that helped me in that space that I was so grateful. The gratitude of like, oh my God, I'll never forget. My son was he was about 6 years old, and the therapist came to the house. And this particular day, we were doing a family counseling session. I had 2 other kids. So I have a total of three adult kids. And my other 2, my youngest is the one with mental illness and some other issue. And so what happened, he was jumping on the sofa. And
the youngest one was doing bouncing on the sofa. Okay.
Yes, he was jumping up and down. I'm sorry. Turn the volume up.
You're doing awesome. You're doing awesome. You're doing awesome.
So he's jumping up and down on the living room sofa. And she said, "You're not going to say anything?" I said, "I'm tired." She picked up her bag, she got her purse, and she started walking out the door. I said, "Where are you going?" She said, "If you're not going to be consistent, you're not going to be present, and you're not going to be attentive, then there's no need for me to be here." So she left. Yeah. She left. And at that moment, I appreciated and valued her even more. So for me, the gratitude of the things I learned on my journey was so amazing. Like it was life changing.
That's really good. That little bit of advice to you and firm advice, but yet it was truly loving that she mentioned it and highlighted, especially towards your son. It was a loving act toward him that she was reminding you to do. That's pretty good. You found the resources that you needed, and that means that you know a number of resources that are available to people. Then I need everybody that watches this and that can connect with it and can use it. You need to get a hold of Angela. You need to not feel that you're alone, that you're incapable of surmounting this challenge and maneuvering around it or through it, that it can be done, because Angela's going to be the same way with you as she was, as that lady was with her when her son was bouncing on. I can tell you would make sure they understood what they needed to do to set up boundaries. Boundaries are really important then, extremely important.
And I'm in a caregivers community and a coaching community. And we have everything from grief coaches to all kinds of, accountability coaches, all kinds. But what I love about my community on both ends, I love the fact that they take you in and you don't have to do this alone. So when I first jumped on the scene as the caregiver coach, I said, "Hi, I'm new." Everybody was greeting me. Everybody was saying, "Here, look, if you need anything, here's, Whole Care Network." They came out like, "If you need anything," it was just so many amazing people that was given. So now I'm in that space. I get to be able to share with people. Listen, I might not have what you need, but I know somebody who will. I don't want you to leave this space. And I want to be able in the next, because it may not be a question you ask, but I'm going to say it in anyway. In the next 5 years, I want to be able to have a community that people feel safe, whether they're even no longer a caregiver or not, that all around the world, they can say, I went to Amazing Caregiver Circle, which is my nonprofit that I'm working on for caregivers. And the reason why I chose the word circles, because there are so many links to connect to this part of this caregiving. So many. So I didn't want to be limited. I didn't want to be in a box. I wanted it to be in 5 years. I have coaches. I have other people who have nonprofits. I've grown all around where people say, "You know what? I know a lot of places we could go. We're going to go to Angela because Angela, Amazing Caregiver,
I like that.
she makes sure she connects us with what we need,
Go see Angela. That's the T-shirt you need to make. You need to have a cartoon,
I'm writing it down.
Hey, I am. I'll be thinking of all kind of marketing ideas. So I'll spew it out. Listen, cartoon character of you, letting them know that they need to go. Everybody, please, if you know someone who's caregiving and they've just been ushered into that responsibility and they need support, they need resources, they need a sense of direction. Please see Angela. Go see Angela. I'm just gonna keep saying I'm gonna do some postings like that. You think I'm joking? I am. I'm gonna take some of your screenshots and I'm gonna post them on my platform. That says go see Angela if you're a caregiver or if you're a new caregiver and you find yourself in that situation. I have to read something to you again. I just want to hopefully get to this too. You posted this beautiful posting. Let me get it over here. It's okay to not be okay. It's the mental health awareness. Check on someone's today. Amazing Caregivers Circles is what you posted. Matter of fact, you mentioned here in the comments, check in on someone today. It's very important to check in on people. You posted this. How was that beneficial? How has that been helpful to you? Have people checked in on you as you dealt with the challenges that come with mental health? And now we're Mental Health Month.
So this is my favorite topic right now because it goes from the mental health, the mental awareness to the caregiving situation. All of it's tied into one. And the reason why a lot of people couldn't even go as simple as the church. So they were doing the church online, but a lot of people needed to be out and about. They needed to be connected. And so I had a situation where somebody didn't hear from me or see me, or we didn't connect because we are normally seeing each other at church. And when I finally said, oh, you know what, somebody's missing, let me just call them. They were angry. They were upset. They were frustrated.
Wait, the person you called was upset?
Yeah. And I said, what's wrong? She said, you didn't check on me. And I said, well, ain't nobody, no one checked on me. And we both started crying. We had an emotional breakdown because we kind of had that moment where we realized nobody's checking on us. Wait a minute. Nobody's checking on us. And people just assume that you were okay. And so I got emotional when she said it, but then when I thought about it, it was like a trigger. And that trigger was, I didn't have to worry about that when I was in front of people. But now that I'm no longer connecting, I who's checking on me? And so when she said, I'm sorry, I'm okay. And that's when I say, it's okay not to be okay. Because I'm okay, but I'm not okay. It's okay, but I'm not okay.
I'm okay.
And we had that. Okay. And so when I Googled, I Googled that it's okay now. I started finding thousands of posts. So I realized it was the natural and the norm that you can be in a space thinking that, oh, it's fine, it's okay. No, it's not okay. But you can be okay because it's not. You don't have to let the world tell you have to be okay. And that's what the world is telling us. You got to be okay. Yeah. And so for mental health awareness, we have celebrities that are coming out speaking about not being okay.
That's correct.
And that's the only time you guys take notice, or people are taking notice when a celebrity say, yes, I just did this movie, but I'm not okay.
Yeah, right.
So I'm in the process of doing an amazing collaboration book, and we're doing our book launch this month. So this interview just is perfect because at the end of this month, matter of fact, I think next week we're doing our book launch on mental health awareness, and the title of our book is Mind Over Mental. And when Taria Visionary Avant, she is amazing. We're collaborating, helping you do books. She's the book queen. And she asked me, she said, do you want to get in this book because your son has mental illness? And I think I've heard you say that. And I was like, let's do it. Let's do it. And I could not wait to start sharing things and places and resources in my chapter, because I knew how important it was. And when it came back to, are you okay? Because people are not checking. I started checking on people. I'm checking on coworkers.
That was my next question, actually, was just that.
Yeah.
Have you found yourself now, after experiencing that with your friend, that you become the checkout queen? You're checking out everybody. You making sure people are okay.
I'm setting boundaries about doing it, because now we live in a social media world. So you're going to get an inbox, a text, an email, a message on Messenger, Twitter. And I just simply may say, hey, I just want to hear your voice. But I don't have a lot of time to just stay in that space. But
how is it? How is that working out? What type of reception are you receiving from people when they get a little love tap like that?
It changes their whole entire being. And again, I'm setting healthy boundaries for myself, because I have a lot going on, but I make time. And I'll choose one day out of a week. It may be one day out of a month. It may not be. If I say I'm going to do the first Monday in the month, that's the first Monday that I put on my time management, put it under there and say, Angela, this is when you make your call. This is when you check on people. This is when you send them a message and tell them when you're free.
We have to make sure people reach out to you. I know that there are people that are going to wait to see this once I upload it, because they were the ones that made the recommendation to try to have this subject brought to my platform. And I am glad that they did so. But I'm really excited that I was able to stumble across you on Twitter, because I was thinking, okay, let me just go research caregivers. And I don't even know how. The next thing I know, I saw a posting that you had, and I saw this person who is this amazing person, because I'm leaving the G off. I saw this posting that you had, this tweet that you had. And right now, this is the situation that I have. I have a situation in which I need to bring the show to an end, but I need you to talk to social media about this mental health aspect, because we talked about caregiving most of the time, but I want to hear your words to everybody this month concerning mental health. That is the theme of all three of my platforms. It's something I'm extremely serious about. No matter what community it's in, mental health has no color, though some communities can be affected deeply more than others. And other parts of the world, from what I'm starting to learn now since I've started this, don't receive the help that they need. I want you to please just take, have a little bit of time left, to take a little bit of time, stick your landing, drop the mic moment in which you please talk about this mental health month and what it means and what some of us need to be aware of.
So mental health awareness month is very important, because even in our monthly quest to stay in front of May Mental Health Awareness Month, it's every month that we need to be checking on not only ourselves, but in others. So I have been fortunate and blessed, because mental illness runs in our family, and in most cases it's hereditary. You're gonna see those genes in it. But I want to be able to say to everyone out there is help. If you're going to say, oh, I'm good, I don't have mental, just get educated on it. Mental health awareness is where it starts. So when you just read something, not the part where you think everybody's crazy, that's not all a part of mental health. So I want you to just take the time to just connect, learn, look out, because you got to know somebody. And if you don't, it doesn't mean that before this lifetime is over, you're not going to know somebody. My book, and I've listed it underneath the comments so that you can see, it's Mind Over Mental at angela.mindovermentalbook.com. You can even go to my website at www.coachamazing.com. But I'm here. And I want to be able to direct you to the resources, show you the resources, tell you whatever I can do, any platforms that I need to jump on, because this is a daily situation where I'm living it, I'm connected to it, I understand it. And for my mental, I have a therapist. I make sure I tap in, I stay present for me. It's important that you do a self-check for yourself, because your health and mental matters. And that is not just May, Mental Illness Aware Month or Mental Illness Day. It's every day of your life that we got to pray for sound mind, and we got to stay in front of our mental. So that's what I want to say.
No matter where you live and what you're going through, hopefully you take serious thoughts. Take some time to reflect on what was just said by Angela. That your mind over mental. Don't let the stigma of mental health or a therapist or anything like that cause you to hold back. So many within the Black community can feel a need to hold back. It's something that many excuse me, many feel ashamed of. Many feel it as men. Whatever you do, seriously consider what Angela just mentioned. It's an everyday process. It's an every month process that you're taking care of your mental health, especially with what has taken place in this pandemic fear atmosphere. Be very mindful that you're not chasing your tail, and take moments to I'm gonna piggyback you, because you said it about 4 or 5 times, to breathe, to make sure that you take it and breathe and stay as present within the moment, and not to overanalyzing what's going to happen tomorrow or down the line. But we've only been able to touch on a little bit with the time that we have allotted right now. I have to end the show, but you will be back. You don't get a choice to say yes or no. I'm just going to take it. I'm just telling you, because there are a number of other things that I'd like to highlight that you post on your page. But I want to talk to you after you get the book launched and a number of other things. We'll give it a little bit of time because I'll get a chance to take a look at it myself at some point after you launch it, so that we can talk about the book and your friend that you're doing the book with. And we're gonna have some more discussions. That's the easiest way for me to say it. You are truly a woman that's an A plus. I said that. That's like a semi joke, because you're amazing. Amazing. My corny joke. You are an A plus woman, a woman who did this today, and we did our little bit before, so we got prepared. We were all good. Everything went perfect. I didn't ask you this question that I normally ask everyone before they come on. Before we ever go on, I normally ask this question. Now I'm going to ask it at the end of the show. Were you nervous?
No, not at all, because this is what I do daily. This is something that I'm passionate about. This is my purpose and part of my destiny, to make awareness and be intentional about sharing how we can be better for ourselves as well as others. So caring and sharing is in my DNA.
As my daddy would say from Little Rock, Arkansas, ain't nothing like a woman that speak with confidence. Ain't nothing like a woman that speak with confidence. She'll make you get goosebumps. You go like, I love your empowering.
I love your daddy. Look at that. I love your daddy.
Well, I do too. Unfortunately, he's not around anymore, but he sure did cause havoc on the planet with his daughters, and teaching all of us to have confidence. And I hear it in your voice. I hear it in every ounce of words that you speak, that you're doing the best that you can to move forward and not be stuck and stagnant. And you're taking a village and a tribe with you. And you're working, and when you're working within one as well. Thank you for all the help. If you need resources, if you need some type of empowerment mindset to move to be a caregiver that's productive but balanced and needs to learn how to set up boundaries, Angela's the woman for you. Angela, you're an amazing woman.
Drop on my page some resources, some people that I'm connected to. So I'll just put a list of them, and when they see it, I'll share it. But share it, look at it, and check some of these people out, because it's bigger than me. It takes a village. So I'm going to stand by that.
Actually, before I go, you just made me think of something that I forgot to mention to you. Do me a huge favor. I've only been doing this for a couple of weeks now that I mentioned what I'm about to say to you right now. Many of the viewers that watch this later and sometimes months down the line, they like it. If you could maybe in the comments, if not tonight, over the next 3 days or so, just types, not all of it, but just some of the stuff and ways that people can reach you in the comments of this particular show. But they love it. I didn't know that it could be done. I'm still new to this stuff. But they were saying many of them love it when the guests come on and put on that they, your book launch, different things, just stuff that it's like one place for them to look at everything, and they know where your website is, they know all that stuff.
I got you.
And okay, so just help me out with that. I appreciate it. I'm still learning how to make this thing work. It's all free TV. But anyhow, thank you, my friend. You're a beautiful person.
Thank you so much.
Good-hearted.
You did an amazing job.
No. Hey, I learned a lot today. I'm going to be the guinea pig next time we talk about this. I'm going to come up with some better questions next time. All right, we will see you later. Everybody, I love everybody. Thank you very much, Angela. We'll see you later. Everybody be safe. Bye-bye.
Our live streaming network is committed to providing a safe and compassionate space for survivors to share their truths while fostering a sense of community and understanding. Join our NATV channel membership for $5.99 a month for members-only TV and live streaming events. Subscribe to NATV Network for more empowering content, heartwarming stories, and impactful discussions on overcoming adversity.
Here are a few life tips to write down. Healing from narcissistic abuse is painful and ugly. Take your emotional power and physical energy back. Stop settling for toxic relationships. Narcissists are bullies and cowards. They enjoy throwing your past in your face so they can make you feel shameful and guilty about your mistakes in life. Stay strong. Be strong. Remain strong.
Remember this, people with narcissistic traits, narcissistic personality, and narcissistic behavior create confusion on purpose to get attention and disrupt the peace of others. Let the past trials and challenges make you stronger, better, and compassionate. Small steps forward every day will bring you the peace you seek. Save your energy. Stop arguing with someone who hates the truth and believes their own lies. If you've made your point, please just stop talking.
Remember this, you stop attracting certain people when you heal the part of you that once needed them.
Please watch another video on NATV Network. Please watch another video on NATV Network.
I'm a big fan of NATV Network. Please stream the live channel on your television.
So Hannah, tell everybody about how they can reach you. I know there's some ways they can reach you, right? Facebook and a whole bunch more. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we've got our Instagram page we're doing through today, which is Hannah Speaks. We've also got our website, which will be going live this evening. As soon as we've done the video, we're going to be launching our website, which is hannahspeaks.co.uk. And through our website, we're going to be uploading our videos, but also offering coaching sessions. We're going to be offering 4 kind of different coaching sessions that can be available to people that really want to engage more when discussing about domestic abuse and wanting to learn more and empower themselves to move away from it. We've also got our Facebook page as well, which is Hannah Speaks. And we're just growing from there. It's all very new still, but we want to just grow and develop and get people aware that it's okay to talk about domestic abuse. And I want to use my voice to really shout about it because it's such a subject that people don't want to talk about very often. It's not something that people feel they can share with others. So we want to use our platform for that reason.
And a lot of times this often swept under the rug in many homes, in many situations and communities. I do have to say this, not ignoring everybody. So Love 7 Angels is here. I believe that says Asheriz, that says Grizzo Scale, Narc Survivor, Love and Life, Joyous, Chelsea Keene, and of course Veronica 619 is here. The whole point of what you're doing is not something you just thought of overnight, correct? We
No.
actually met last year, but you've been doing this for a bit. Tell everybody about that.
Yeah, so I've been working in domestic abuse now for about 2.5 years. Started with a small understanding and knowledge around it, and then the more I learned, and especially the more people I encountered, the more my knowledge expanded as well. The more I kind of came to terms with, this is a big thing. Why haven't we not spoken about it before? Having experienced part of it myself, it was kind of this idea of, well, if I kept quiet about it, how many other people have kept quiet about it? So I've been trying over the last 2.5 years to reach out to as many people as possible. I've worked with about 200 women and a few groups of men as well, trying to get people to open up, and also kind of, there's so many different platforms to it. One, to open up, to realize that abuse is real and you haven't made it up. It's a real thing, because an abuser is so good at telling you that you're the problem. An abuser is so good at making you think that you've got the issue. So it's kind of making people aware that it's a real thing, abuse. This does happen. And we are here to listen. I want to listen, and I want to support people to move forward away from abuse, because what we end up seeing is really unhealthy patterns of one relationship to the next. So hopefully with platforms like this, we can kind of put a stop to that, or help people go the right way towards healthy lifestyles and healthy relationships.
It's just curious. It's curious to me. I need to ask you this. You no doubt have seen that, where people go from one relationship to the other, not trying to choose someone to abuse them, but they end up going from one abuse to the next abuse. How do you react to that? How do you deal with that? You've seen that, maybe, yes?
Definitely, and it's a really common thing, and it's because what tends to happen is we haven't learned from the previous. And that's a big thing with abuse, is you've got to kind of put your hands up and be like, yeah, this was actually really abusive. And what we tend to do is play down the abuse. And a lot of people will compare, well, this partner's not like the other one. This one doesn't do what the other one did, so it's still okay. This then all comes down to you and how you value yourself and see yourself. We talk a lot about self-worth and self-respect, identity and dignity. If you have a low threshold for what you see yourself as, you're then going to not really kind of, not care, but you're not going to have a higher standard for who you should be dating and bringing into your life. And that's where we see this repetitive pattern of, I don't see myself being worthy of anything other than this relationship that's quite unhealthy, but I don't see how I could go forward from it. It's definitely a common trait. Not always the case, but that kind of is a key factor of repetitive, unhealthy behaviors, definitely, and relationships.
So breaking that system of, or lifestyle of a repetitive behavior, it can take some work then.
Yeah. It's so hard, and I trust me, I know, I've done it, and it's not an easy journey. It really isn't, and you still have to learn. It doesn't just happen overnight. And I'm fortunate enough where I run these courses, I get a weekly dose of, Hannah, remember to love yourself. Hannah, remember that these patterns aren't good.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing, is people will get help for that specific time, and then we kind of lose focus again, and you meet someone else and you lose track of yourself again, where it is all based around, you have to know who you are, what you want, who you deserve, to then be able to move forward into healthy relationships. But it does take time, but it all centers around ourselves. And I think a lot of the time when we talk about abuse, we talk about the perpetrator or the abuser. We don't ever sit there and talk about ourselves in the sense of, how can I feel empowered to move forward from this? What did I lose from it? Let's move forward and let's regain and rebuild ourselves from that.
Okay, so I want to do that with this show.
Yeah.
You're the second show on our network, and there's a number of other shows that are coming, but with this show, near and dear to my heart, so is the Coach Jess show. Hers is about resiliency and relationships and bouncing back. You're talking about digging deep and understanding who we are, and not focusing so much on the abuser, or in other words, just being negative about that, but seeing the positive in ourselves. so that we can work on
Definitely.
ourselves, if I understand you correctly?
Yeah, definitely. What I'm saying is it's the whole, I don't want to give the abusers any more credit. I don't want to talk about them.
Okay.
Yeah, I
All
can
right.
talk about what they get up to and their tactics and traits, but to move forward from abuse, what I need to do is look at myself and think, well, how do I value myself? How much do I respect myself to want the best for me? And don't get me wrong, I am fully aware of how hard it is to leave an abusive relationship, that the list can go on and on and on. But at the end of the day, if I just value myself a tiny little bit more, I'm going to then feel like I deserve a lot more. And that's what it comes down to. It's about abuse at the end of the day is the abuser's choice. They had a choice in that. They chose to abuse. However, what I can do now is choose to empower myself to move forward and not be in those repetitive patterns of unhealthy behaviors.
When it comes to, and you did mention this the very first time we did two episodes together last year about valuing ourselves. I remember that. That was over a year ago. And I have to say, I want you mentioned some really good points back then, but right now, please share one or two things that someone can put into effect today to show that they're valuing themselves and start to distance themselves from their abuser.
One of the main things we do personally on the courses I run, and it sounds like a really simplistic idea, but give yourself a gift every single week or every single day. It doesn't have to be financial at all. But by giving myself 5 minutes extra in the bath or making myself an extra strong cup of tea before I deal with the kids' breakfast or whatever, what I'm doing is putting myself first. And what we've been taught and programmed is that being selfish is wrong. Abusers want their needs met first. By giving ourselves a gift, we're putting ourselves first. We're changing selfish to self first, and we're really looking after ourselves. And over a long amount of time, we're then building up. We're giving ourselves time. We're giving ourselves those little gifts to make us feel like us again. So that's one thing I always suggest to people, is giving yourself to little gifts. The other thing as well is to look really deep into yourself and think, what do I actually love? And this kind of then plays into your gifts as well, is what do I really enjoy doing? What do I get out of a day that is empowering for me? And then focus on that. Because what we find is, similar to the gift situation, is we put so much time, effort and energy into the abuser's wants and needs, we then forget our own basic needs. And another one that is a classic one that we all forget is our rights. You know, I asked this.
What do you mean by that?
Our rights.
Our rights are like our individual rights?
Our individual rights, definitely. And we talk about this a lot. The women that I've worked with is, if I were to say, what are your rights? It kind of goes over people's heads. They're like, what do you mean? And it's that common thing of that we tend to all forget.
That just happened to me.
It just happened there. An example of a right would be, I have the right to say no. I have the right to be me. I have the right to put myself first. I have the right to be in a safe and healthy relationship. And it's all those things that we totally forget. So giving yourself a daily reminder of, I have the right to be Hannah today, or I have the right to wear what I want. That's a classic one with abusers, is you can't wear what you want to wear. So if I tell myself every day, I have the right to wear what I want to wear, I'm then building myself up again to be like, yes, I can do these things, and I don't need the approval of my abuser or abusive relationships.
When it comes to, well, you gave us three, right? You gave us three. We need to give a gift to ourselves. The second one, dealing with our basic needs, or how would you put it if I said it correctly?
Dealing with understanding your basic joys and needs and wants rather than everyone else's.
Then everybody, got it. And the second one, dealing with our individual rights, making sure that we have the right to say no. The abuser doesn't have the right to dictate every stitch of clothing we have on, or our clothing, in other words, our food, the music, movies we choose. We have preferences, and they should not be kicked to the curb. We need to acknowledge that. With those three, just that you shared with us there, those three really put the abuser at a distance, because now we get to be ourselves or separate from the abuser and not just under their control. But that could be hard, huh, for someone to do that. They could start to feel shame and guilt that, oh, I'm being mean to them. But that's not correct, right, Hannah?
No, totally not correct. It's all about putting yourself first again. It's not that selfish ideology that we've had for so many years. It's self first. And what will happen if I start putting myself first, I will start to ruffle the feathers or annoy the people that don't like it. And the main reason they don't like it is because they can't manipulate me anymore, because I'm putting myself first. I'm putting boundaries in place. When I do my rights, when I say I have the right to say no, that's a boundary. When I say I have the right to wear what I want to wear, that's another boundary. The more boundaries I put in place, the further I'm pushing an abuser or a potential abuser away. That's going to get so hard for them to try and manipulate me, because I'm strong-minded and I know what I have the right to, and I know what I enjoy, and I know my basic human rights. So the more we start doing these small little things like the gifts and reminding our rights, the bigger impact eventually will be that I've got boundaries in place for an abuser or a potential abuser. They'll really struggle to get there, because what tends to happen is we don't have an understanding of our rights. We don't have an understanding of putting ourselves first, and that's an easy door for an abuser or a manipulator to come into.
So we're talking more than just pointing out what someone else is doing toward us. We're more understanding maybe their tactics and the sneaky things they may do, but we don't live there and just focus totally on that. We start to now focus on, well, the 3 tips and others that you're going to give, so that we can start to understand that we really have some power, if not all the power. We have all the power over ourselves, and technically we have maybe some power in the way we react to what the abuser does. But the abuser gets their feathers ruffled. What can a person do then?
If the abuser's feathers have been ruffled, that's your red flag. That's your red flag. So let's say they start picking up on the fact that I'm wearing what I want to wear. I should automatically think that person's going against my voice, what I've chosen to do. That's when you see those red flags. Then we have to start looking at, are we strong enough to push away those red flags? Because trust me, I know everyone's been there, or lots of people have been there, where they see a red flag and they ignore it. They think, oh, I don't think it is. Whereas what we try at Hannah Speaks is to really build up on this self-empowerment and this self-awareness and strength to say, I don't like that red flag, and I'm not going to chase it, and I'm not going to be involved in it. Because that's another starter for unhealthy patterns, is we see things and we ignore them. We give people the benefit of the doubt. We think, oh, it was just a one-off, or I have to be confident in myself to say no and to push that person away. Definitely.
So if we ignore the disrespect, it will only increase to the point that we're looking at a situation where the abuse will get worse, because we just keep sweeping it under the rug, which is what the abuser wants. They want us to be silent and not have a preference. We just go along to get along and never identify who we really are. Now, you have experienced that then, personally. Now, we've talked, of course, before when you came on, but a lot of people may or may not know who you are. So let's say we took 25 seconds. If you took 25 seconds, you're not going to be able to count this in your head. I'll keep an eye on it. Take 25 seconds and describe what your life was like when you were dealing with an abuser. Can you try it for 25 seconds? Wait. I'll let you get your thoughts. I'll let you just get your thoughts first. Just describe what it was like. In 25 seconds. Go.
Mental torture. Self-doubt, constant self-doubt that, am I making this up? Am I the one causing this? Physical elements to it as well. But I think the biggest aspect was the mental side of it. It was that constant, I liken it to addiction. Really? I haven't been addicted, but from what I've heard from other people is I liken it to addiction, in the sense of, this is the person that makes me feel the crappiest at times, but this is the person that pulls me up from that crappest moment. And then when I feel down again, what do I need? I need that fix. So I'm going to go back to that crappy person. And that's the God's honest truth of explaining how that relationship was an addiction. And I can put my hands up to that and say that now. It's like I couldn't let go because that was my main fix.
I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, everybody, don't jump on me. I know it was past 25 seconds, but it was so good I couldn't stop it.
Yeah, sorry.
So go ahead. No, go ahead, girl. Go ahead. Go ahead. Keep going. No, go ahead. You're getting tons of hearts, and I see everybody writing us here. We're gonna get to it in just a second. I just go ahead and finish. Anything else you wanted to add, especially for those that are listening to this and they're beginning their journey of having to deal with domestic abuse and they want to be free of it. These are some really beautiful words you're saying.
There is definitely, you have to, and it's horrible to say this, and I hate to say it because it's then putting the onus on us, but if we want our life to change, we've got to do it. The abuser is content with keeping the situation as it is, and if we're honest, they probably want it a lot worse, so then we're really manipulated, we can be manipulated, sorry. So it's putting yourself first. It is literally putting yourself first and foremost, and wanting as much positivity for yourself. I think that's the only way I can explain it. Is there is definitely a life after abuse, but we have to, with support, with encouragement and strength from the right individuals, we have to push through it and see that, but give ourselves the credit that it will happen. Don't self-doubt.
And even when we may be having a good day and not having to chase red flags, as you said a little bit earlier, or anything like that, that's not the time to let the guard down, right? We still need to continue to take care of ourselves, or how'd you put it? We need to give a gift to ourselves. We need to know our rights, that we have the right to say no, and we need to take care of our basic needs. We can't do that for a little bit and then let our guard down, because then the abuser has another opening.
Yeah. And the thing is, when you're in an abusive relationship, there will be, we talk about openly the cycle of abuse, where you will have this really lovely honeymoon stage, and then it goes to the calm where everything's good, then it's the tension building, and then it's the incident, and then it goes back to the reconciliation in the honeymoon stage. So it is a sense of, while you're in this relationship, that cycle is constantly going behind closed doors. No one else can see it. You're not even aware of it. I came across a woman the other day who said, I knew there was a cycle, but I didn't know what it was. And I was shocked. I was like, oh my gosh, people have to come on the course to know that. And this girl knew. She was like, I knew it was a cycle. Yeah. She said, I didn't know how to explain it, but she's like, I knew it was a cycle. And so as soon as you, let's say we have a day where we're building ourselves up, that's probably when the tension will start building in that cycle of abuse, because you're challenging the behaviors of the abuser and you're not doing as they please or what they want from a submissive partner, essentially. And that's when the incidents happen. So even when you are building yourself up, and if you're still in that cycle, it's really hard, because you're up against someone that doesn't want you to succeed. They don't want you to be away from them. Again, it's that addiction. It's that addiction on both parties.
And we're not talking about, I just want to say this again for many of you who may be coming in, just a recap, a small recap. Of course, feel free to rewatch this later here on Narc Abuse TV Network. Hannah is the second show. Hannah Speaks is the second show on our platform, on our network. The Coach Jess show deals with resiliency in relationships and recovery. Hannah will be focusing our attention, and for those who would like to join in and talk in this group chat about domestic abuse, how to not focus on the abuser, understand the tactics and the techniques and the machinations and subtle things that they may do, but really to focus on the life skills necessary to recover, separate oneself, and to really take care of yourself if you have life after abuse, and how to move on to a healthy relationship. I got to get to the screen here, Hannah, before we have to go. This is the pilot show. This is for us to get all our kinks out before we give you our first episode, which will take place in a couple of weeks. You will see a number of people who will come on before our second season is over with, that will have their own show here on Narc Abuse TV Network. You had a few things here. I'm going to scroll back here and make sure I get everybody and not leave anybody out. Let's see. They usually flip out or go passive aggressive, silent treatment, or guilt trip.
Yeah.
You've experienced that and seen that
Yeah.
even in your courses and your workshops?
Yeah, that's a common one. It's that kind of classic childlike behavior. They don't get their own way. So what do? They act like a child. They sulk. They pass, like you said, passive aggressive, smashing things in the room. You know, it's that kind of very childlike attitude towards a relationship. The immaturity level is beyond me. And that is a classic example of somebody that's an abusive person or has abusive traits.
Let's make this happen. What? What are you telling me? Unable to join. What are you saying to me? I see everybody. We're trying to get our guests in. That's the joke. That's what I'm trying to do right now. Right now, I'm trying to get... Oh, it worked. It worked. Okay.
I won't move. I won't.
No. You can move. Listen. I have backups to the backups to the backups. So I've got so many backups, it's not even funny. So I have things that I can do, and I just use one of my backups. And if this one works, then great. So this is what I'm doing. We're doing the show just like this.
Okay.
So everybody, there's movement, everything like that. I'm going to settle down in just a moment. I just got to get comfortable. So let's see here. We got Dario here. Is that
my cousin.
Tori? Yeah, okay. Cousin's in. There's my Anastasia. She's here. I can count on her. Thank you very much. So
I got
everybody
Tori's on there. Tori's
Yeah.
a client and a fellow coach.
Okay, so everybody just hang in here. You literally in real time are watching me. What I normally have ready, just hold on here. I just got to do some things. And Dana, do me a huge favor because I hate to put you in this position, but first time ever, literally almost behind the scenes while I'm doing some stuff, you can start telling everyone that you got their questions, right? You got some questions that people were sending you while we were down.
Yes. Can I go to that on my phone while I'm talking to you? Will
Yes,
it show me
you're going to
still?
do it. Yes,
Right,
this is, Go ahead and do that. I'm going to be doing some things while you're talking, but go right ahead. You there? Can you get them? If not, I have them. But
Yeah, I don't even know how to go to my messages. So
don't worry about it.
I'll just see
I've
if I
got
can
you covered.
remember.
I just got to do one or two things real quick here.
Okay.
And,
if any of you guys want to type in some questions, I can read them right off of there.
Okay, so anybody that's out there, Anastasia, Tori, all of you, if you have questions for Dana, put them in the question section. You will see a little question area there. Feel free to put your questions in there, and we can go from there. I just need to do a few things to hook you up here. So everybody, bear with me. I'm going to not have my screen on, but I'm going to be moving around back here, getting things ready. Keep Dana company. And Dana?
Yes.
Go ahead and tell people what you do.
All right, great. So I actually am my official title is a high conflict divorce coach or consultant. And I've actually been a consultant for 20 plus years. That was usually in the medical field, medical, dental, small business arena, dealing with all sorts of things, interpersonal communications, hiring, interviews, my favorite thing in that was how to say what they need to be saying so that clients and patients can understand what it is that this particular specialist knows that the patient needs to do. So a lot in communications. And that was really fun for me. Going through my own high conflict divorce, I was not able to work in that field for several reasons, which I will not get into here live. And so I started.
You will not get into that because I will stop you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we need to keep that personal. Go ahead.
So then I started just by friends, and then other people heard what I was going through and asked for help. And so then it became friends of friends that I started coaching through the uniqueness of my situation. And come to find out that even if I'd never met these people before, the situations are very similar, at least parts of them. Maybe they're not all in one situation at once, but different parts of them. And so the person I am is I began researching why things were happening the way they were, how that could be happening the way that they were. And because it didn't make sense to me, I just kept going. And then I'd get more and more referrals. And then in January, Tina Swithin with One Mom's Battle offered a certification, a training, and asked if I was interested.
Before you go any further, let's give Tina a little bit more of a shout out on that. Yeah, let's give her. Hold on 1 second there. I got this one. Okay.
That's for you, Tina.
Yeah, that's for Tina because she has helped a lot of individuals. Many that have crossed my platform and shows have talked about her behind the scenes, and she's been able to help a lot of people. You took a course that she had, is what you're saying?
Right. In January, she actually offered the first certification ever for high conflict divorce coaches. And that had never happened. That's a brave thing to do. It's a difficult arena to be in. And she'd written books. She has written books, and she has coached many, many people all over the world, and was finding out that there was really just more people. Well, there are definitely more people than she could help. And so very selfless of her, she thought, well, if I can get some more people to know what I know,
right,
then we can help more people. And she's been able to dedicate time now to more systemic change, laws, a lot of big things happening there. One Mom's Battle, high conflict divorce coaching. Check her out. Instagram and Facebook, and join the movement. It's actually become, in the last couple, maybe even just month, huge things happening there. And I think you're going to see a lot of changes. It's exciting to be doing this at this time because things really are, like, as we speak, they're actually starting to change. I tell all my clients this, you guys, it's not fair and it's not right that you have to hire someone like me. That sounds ridiculous because then don't I want a job? I know. I get it. You shouldn't have to hire an expert who knows, oh, don't say that. You need to say it this way. Or don't do that. You need to have someone else do that. There are actually right and wrong ways to do this. And it's a little ridiculous, but it's true. The reason, I've been saving all this for you, Paxton. The reason, the reason for this is everything that I do, I echo the U.S. Justice Department. Go figure. So they have, the federal government has funded studies to find out the truth behind what's really going on in the court system with these high conflict divorces. And there are studies out there that actually our U.S. government accepts as true and correct. And the people that call me or follow me, ask me questions are usually an outcome of a high conflict situation, relationship, separation, divorce, child custody. And the U.S. Justice Department says every single one of these are called what they term as a harmful outcome case. This is not supposed to be happening.
Wait a minute. You got to say that again. They call it a what?
They call it a harmful outcome case. And they say this is wrong 100% of the time. Why is it happening then, Paxton? Why is this happening? It's because our court system, our local systems, our attorneys, our judges, our commissioners, they don't know. And so I'm over here like, that's the kind of person. I was raised by an attorney. I'm not an attorney, by the way. Everything I say is not legal advice. Definitely anything I say, you run through your attorney first before you do anything that I might suggest. I'm also not a mental health professional. I do work with a lot of them, and I do get my information in legitimate ways. I go to the judges' trainings that they offer monthly, sometimes bi-monthly. So I'm learning what the judges are learning They answer all my questions.
You're okay. You're okay here, see, because parents are not lawyers either, but they give you legal advice. So so parents are not doctors, but they tell you what to take and what medicine to take. So
I love that.
It's okay. Go
in
ahead.
my arena, you really never know who's going to come after you. So that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, I understand. You have to deal with crazy people. So I understand. So I do have to. I have to say, Tori, if I'm saying that right, as well as Anastasia, have a number of things that they've asked. Anastasia on the screen is saying, how can she find Tina Swaven? That's not Swaven.
So Tina Swiven. One Mom's Battle. OMB is the acronym. One Mom's Battle. So there's a website, Instagram, Facebook. She's not coaching any longer, but you'll find a lot of information. She's written books. Honestly, Anastasia, like that, I was already started into my high conflict divorce when I found her information. And I do audiobooks, and I was walking and I was listening, and I like was in some different time and space, and I just my mouth dropped. I could not believe someone had experienced something similar to me. I just thought there was no way anyone else. And you know what? There's quite a few other people that have experienced what I was experiencing. And even if it wasn't details the same as mine, it gave me this strength that, okay, so this is happening and it's actually real. And now what am I going to do about it? That's just how I am.
The question, the first question that I have on the screen that I just scrolled up to, it says, Tori asked this question: when you hire a custody and or a divorce coach, does it need to be with someone within your own state?
Tori's awesome. Hi, Tori. Tori's in California. I'm in Washington. I have clients all across the country. I have quite a few in Virginia. I've got Louisiana, Denver, Texas, Florida, Idaho, Oregon, California, and Washington. No, it doesn't need to be in your own state. I try to send clients to other coaches I know that are in their states, but I'm a little bit different because, so I should clarify now, right? So I say coach.
What does that mean? You're a little different.
You probably can tell from this little snippet already of me. So technically coaches listen and, radical acceptance, and this is where it is. And so now let's just accept where that is, and then we'll work forward. That's really great. And there are coaches, like you had Jackie on. Jackie's amazing. I love Jackie.
Yeah,
she's Jackie in California. Miller. Yep. We're like, Jackie Miller's actually from up here, one of the islands up here in Washington. She just lives in LA now. So yeah, so there's some that are really good at different things. So you really should be going to One Mom's Battle, click on find a coach, and then you should set up some consultations and who feels right with you. Because, when those of you that have had to hire an attorney and you put that retainer down, you're stuck, you're not going anywhere, and you barely know this person, and now your entire life and your kids' lives are in their hands. And just switch attorneys is awful and scary and horrible. So I think learning to take charge of your own life is part of this process. And so
it can be scary then, correct?
Right. And so what's the best thing you could do for yourself? You need to call and talk to a few people. It won't bother me. I will give you some names and numbers of some other people. You need to talk to them, hopefully they have a 30-minute free consultation like me, and get a feel for it. The coaches should specialize in different types of things, have experience in more than one thing or another. I actually call myself a consultant. I was a consultant for 20 years in the small business medical field. Paxton, I just can't break it. I am a consultant.
Well, you're also the daughter of a lawyer, correct?
Yes, I'm the daughter of a lawyer.
So when those two come together, and then we sprinkle that with the divorce, high conflict divorce, we come up with you. Lawyer, cross a lawyer with a consultant, sprinkled with a little bit of high conflict divorce, and it gave birth. It gave birth to you. There you are. That's what we have. I have, I have other questions here for you.
Yes,
So,
sure.
I do want to ask you this. Do you provide a 30-minute consultation for free? I'm just asking.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I struggle to keep it at 30 minutes, so don't book yourself something right after me. That's, you keep saying like, wait, don't talk, wait till we get to the show. I have so much to say. We could probably talk every day for the next week. That was also a little joke with me growing up.
Have at it.
The things I've learned, I think everyone needs to know these things. I had no idea this other world was going on under my nose. And sometimes I get calls after a mom has lost their child, and it's work to get it back, but I'm not going to stand for it. I can't just sit here and chip away. I can't do it, especially with the information I have now. So I'm going to, as soon as you call me on that 30-minute consult, I'm going to give you homework. So be prepared. I'm going to give you stuff to do. Now, if you just want someone to listen to your situation, you really need to tell me that. I don't really do that very well. So
I was going to say, that's not you.
No.
That's not you. You're an action-based woman.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're an action-based woman. You move toward getting things done, which is why Tina was so appealing to you, because she is overwhelmingly oozes as being an action-based woman. And when a woman is like that, there is no stopping her. You have an IG page that is, you're very straightforward. And you are indeed the daughter of a lawyer, because you're also very analytical in the way you do things.
Oh.
However, you've got questions that need to be answered for people that sent them into you. I'm going to pull one out right now. Let's see. Let me pick one. I'm going to pick one from Anastasia.
Okay.
I understand that freedom is priceless, but nevertheless, why it's not seen by the courts when it comes to certain things she's talking about. The biggest question she has is how in the world, I'm reading somebody else's words, everybody, so bear with me. How in the world, with all their lies, tricks, and manipulation, they still get what they want from the judge? And how does it that the court doesn't see their true selves and what they do? So you got a lot to unpack there.
No, I just say it all day long.
She wants to see if you can give her some answers on that.
Yeah. Yep. I hear you, Anastasia. I asked the same question, and I actually have an answer for you. All of this is my opinion, but it's also backed with research. And you're not going to like the first part, then I'll move on from that. We fell from them too. We fell for that person also at one point. And we've probably spent more time with that person than the judge or an attorney is going to spend with that person. This person likely has an ability to put on a show, and very, very convincingly, they've learned what things to do in front of who, to whom. And they also studied you every day since the moment you met them. They know your buttons, they know your triggers, they know how to get you to do what they want you to do. The best part is when you change that. It also can be dangerous. So you need to, don't just go off and do what I'm going to tell you today. There's some strategy in place too. Why do the judges not see it? Why do the courts not see it? You got to give them time. I asked the judges this. So there's a national training for the judges. I go and I said, what do we do? And they said, oh, well, just give us some time. We're going to put some rules in place and we'll notice when they break the rules. And I said, what if they're so good that they can just barely get by with kind of following your rules? We look like the one that's complaining. How do we show you that? And they actually stopped the whole session. And
kind of like the way you broke the internet over here, in California. So I'm just joking.
I'm not messing around. I got stuff to do. Like, I want to know,
You stopped the whole thing. Go ahead.
That is right. And so what they explained, what the judges that were training at that time told me, they explained that we have to do better at showing, this is going to be good. Write this down. We have to be better at showing.
Hold on. Notepad and pen. Okay, I got it. We have to be better. Go ahead.
We have to be better about presenting our information to the judge. The judges tell me they know what needs to happen. They know what they need to do. They know what we want them to do, but we're not giving them the information to be able to do so. Whether they like it or not, they're bound by the law. I know that some of you are saying, yeah, right, my judge ruled against me anyway. I mean, that's going to happen too. So this is going to make you laugh, but it's this simple. Find something you can track. You just said I was analytical on my page, and I was like, am I? Okay, listen to this.
Yeah,
Find a number you can track. These are the number of visits they're allowed within the parenting plan, 100 visits over this last period of time. Here's the number of visits no-showed. Here's the number canceled. Here's the number showed up late, and here's the number that he brought him home early. Put it in a beautiful pie chart. Whatever. Hire a graphic designer. Learn Google Sheets, whatever. Make it pretty. And this judge they're so funny, you guys. This one judge is on there saying, the most compelling evidence I've seen was presented by this wonderful lady in this beautiful color-coded chart.
That's just the best. I'm serious.
I'm like, so my friends that are judges, my friends that are lawyers say, we don't want to think. We do this all day long. We don't want to think. Give us something clear.
All right, I have to say this. Yeah, first of all, you're dropping some serious truth bombs in here. So I got to give you my applause here. Hold on. And you're doing so well. It's just totally awesome. But I have to say this. What you're describing right now is the way any woman should talk to a man. If you have to make a pie chart for him, make one. Because we're that pragmatic that if you literally, yes, that's what we need. We will take that before we will read an entire instruction book. Yes. If you have to make one of those for him to take the trash out, make one, and he will always take the trash out. Because a judge is the same way. He just tell me. But you're making a very valid point. He has to be bound by the law, or his entire life will be thrown out the window. So he has to. So if you don't present him with enough, and he may know, I should find a way to rule against this person. If he does it and he skirts the law, he's in trouble, even though he's doing the right thing. So that's a very good point. So we need to provide the basic information so that they're in a position that they can go in attack mode. But if not, they can't be in attack mode in our behalf because they're sitting there with their hands tied. And technically, they're probably frustrated at us going like, I can't be your lawyer, but you should do this.
Right. Well, they don't even know which one of us is the high conflict person first. It doesn't take two. One high conflict person is all it takes. And they're at the beginning, they're like, so part of it is you need to give yourself some time. And I didn't do this, but you need to let them figure it out. Let the judges see and figure it out.
But it took the individual dealing that married that person some time to figure it out. So the judge can't, in a matter of days, moments, hours, just figure it out like that. They see it all the time, and the sense of justice that got them to be a judge, they have to rely on that. They can't just be knee-jerk biased and go like, oh, yeah, I've seen this person is just like the last person, because that's not fair either. They could do that. Well, if we
they do that. I mean, I get calls all the time.
I was being nice. I was being nice, but you're absolutely correct. They're going to do it.
Absolutely. So why do they do that? Why do they do that, Paxton? I want to tell you guys why.
Preach on, sister.
I'm going to tell you. They do this because they don't know. It's ignorance. They don't know about the current research. That made me crazy when I figured that out just recently.
Can I just stick this? I have to stick this in.
Go.
They don't know, right?
They don't know.
They don't have the research. Okay, ladies, if you're ever confused and you're married or you're with your man and he can't give you an answer, she just told you why. When a man does not know and he does not have, he will fake it and you will know he has no idea what he's doing. And you'll look at the judge the same way, but you can't do anything about it because he's sitting up there, right? Yep. They have no idea, right?
Right. So you guess what? It becomes our job. Like I said, it's not right. It's not fair. I see some clients on here. Yeah, it's not right and it's not fair. You are going to have to pay a coach a fraction of what you pay a lawyer to get you some freaking information and some strategy.
Why doesn't the lawyer know though?
They don't
they have
know.
Coaches on their staff? Don't they have people?
The lawyers don't know.
They need to hire coaches on their staff or something.
Some very few. If you Google it, you might find 5, maybe 10 in thousands, across the country. But honestly, you guys, so when you see like LA Law, or I don't even know, I don't watch those shows, but whatever, and they have,
yeah, right,
and they go and say, case law, Smith versus Smith says blah, 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 blah. Do you know that's your lawyer's job, is to bring case law that proves the point that you're trying to get the judge to rule? Job.
Makes sense.
To have case law.
Oh, you still there? Okay, I got you back. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, my phone started ringing. Case law for the other side to say, oh no, here's this, they're wrong because this is a newer case law. You'll hear that, right?
Yes, right.
It's your lawyer's job to say, oh, by the way, the U.S. Justice Department has done this, has accepted this study that they paid for. And I'm speaking of the Saunders study generally. If you don't know the Saunders study, it's like 600-700 pages. Go read some summaries on it. BarryGoldstein.net. BarryGoldstein.net. He's an expert witness that I use. I use his page as my research or my resource page.
Wow.
BarryGoldstein.net has researched this for 30, 40 years, something crazy. He's out of New York. He's testifying for my clients. When they put his name down as a witness, you want to know,
right?
Everyone,
Done.
all of a sudden, this abusive side starts delaying the case and like asking for more time and like trying to settle things before this witness testifies. Why? Because Barry Goldstein only talks about, not his opinion, like all the other experts on everybody's case, all these evaluations and parent coaches and guardian ad litems and all these things, they give their opinion, subjective opinion.
Okay.
Barry Goldstein is objective. He's not talking about the person. He's not calling them by name. He's going to say, guess what the research shows? The research says this, 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 and this. Oh, that fits this case exactly. Mm-hmm. Well, our Justice Department already says that this is what has to happen from that. It's so true. Wow. There's no, and if that judge does go against that, you're going to win in an appeal. And if you have lost something and you are recently have a formal ruling from a court and you don't agree with it, you must contact DV Leap, DV-LEAP, DV Leap. It was founded by Joan Myers. See, I give everything away for free.
Awesome.
But I do it because
Wait, say it again. Say it again. Say it again.
The letter D, the letter V, leap, like take a leap of faith. DV Leap, started by Joan Myers. They will fund your appeal if you have domestic violence. I'm telling you.
Seriously?
Man, now I'm like shooting myself. I'm going to have to call him and have him hire another attorney on staff.
Hey, hold on one second. This is for you. I have come to find that not everyone who knows everything has a bunch of followers. Sometimes those people are just out to make money. And then there are people beautiful. You're a beautiful person. You're a beautiful woman, Dana, that you pass on this information, because I have so many people reach out to me that want to have shows like this, that millions may not be watching it in the moment or later on, but that one person who needs to hear what you just said is going to help them get their children back.
If your kids are in danger, if your kids are not with you and you've experienced domestic violence, I don't care if anyone's told you it wasn't domestic violence. The current research says that if you're still struggling through a divorce or separation or custody battle over a year or two period of time, the studies show that that is generally an overlooked or underemphasized domestic violence case, and that if the partner has been abusive to the, I'm going to just say, if the dad has been abusive to the mom, I don't have my percentage in front of me, very highly likely that he is also going to be abusive to the child. It's done, it's research, double blind, it passes all the valid research tests, Saunders study. There's another thing you'll find, Quincy model. Go to BarryGoldstein.net resource page. You'll see them there. Learn about them, Google them, find someone else's summary on them. I'm never going to read the whole Saunders study. I'm just not.
Yeah.
So, but guess what? I thought, okay, fine. I'll just teach everybody this stuff. They can tell their lawyer. Then the lawyer could say, we have the Saunders study. You need to, abide by this. Doesn't work. That's not fair. Yeah. You have to have an expert in there to testify. And your attorney's going to say, I don't need an expert. I don't need anyone to tell me how to do this. Your attorney's wrong, but it's just because they don't know yet. Hire Barry Goldstein.
How does that work out to get the attorney to? Well, first of all, they work for you. Real quick though, on the screen, can you see the screen? People are talking to you and saying nice things about you. They're saying that you are awesome. Of course, leave _no_contact_go_goes. For all of you, first time here, I do that every time because she's a loyal follower. She says that Barry is excellent. Others recognize that you have a very large heart. Excuse me, not large heart, a huge heart. Definitely kind heart, according to Joy there. Joy, thank you for being here. If I could just get Joy on the show, too.
That's
Joy
my
on
cousin.
the show.
That's
yeah,
my
we're
cousin.
going to get Joy on the show. She's
We're twins. We're twins.
Yeah, I was going to say both of you guys should be on the show together. Now, Anastasia says that she's been, I guess, dealing with this for over years, what I'm trying to read into that statement. So this kind of stuff can linger on for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, actually it never goes away. They just
Really?
change the way they abuse you. I heard Jackie on your show.
Yeah.
We talked to, and she talked about post-separation abuse.
Yeah.
A case for Ace, the person that just started that up,
right.
she helped redesign this. Yeah. So this, and she's a friend of mine too, but this one is the old one. This is not redesigned. This is Tina Swithin's post-separation abuse wheel.
Yes, I've seen it. Yeah.
So, that talks about the length of time. They just switch the thing that they use to abuse. We say all these terrible things about these guys. You know what? They're not very creative, Paxton. They don't think uniquely.
It's called being lazy.
I actually want to be nice
lazy
about it, but they're not creative.
No, that's first of all, that's why they pick, the women that they pick. Because they're lazy and not creative. And they just know how to be charming and look halfway clean and decent. And then once that's uncovered that they're, not that, then they end up trying to run and take the kids and be difficult and financial abuse and all
they will destroy you.
Childish things. Go ahead.
Yeah, they will do anything they can to destroy you. It has been the most eye-opening and hardest thing I've ever experienced in my life. I'm a happy, positive person. I couldn't believe it was happening. And I stayed married longer than I should have. But I had convinced myself, everyone means well. Everyone should be given the benefit of the doubt. There are situations that you'll find yourself in where this person cannot get better. They cannot change. They follow Dr. Ramani on YouTube, Instagram, a bunch of other things. Dr. Ramani, she's a world expert. In fact, we met every week for quite a while. Summertime, everybody's taking a break right now. I also work with Dr. Catherine Barrett. Mm-hmm. I hire her every Monday, clinical forensic psychologist out of LA. I run all my cases by her. She teaches me so then I can teach my clients.
Awesome.
And I feel terrible because everyone's going to say, I can't afford this. I know, neither could I. Nobody can really afford this. And until I can get some laws changed, which we're really working hard. Yes, somebody put on here, go to the Stop Abuse campaign. I do work with the Stop Abuse campaign. Barry Goldstein also works with them. The Safe Child Act, there are some laws that are passing. They're like so close. I'll put stuff like that on my page. You guys can go in and support them in their other states. But until these laws are in place, you're going to have an expert in domestic violence. Oh, so the Saunders study says you have to go specifically based on the type of abuse that you experience. So, you want a domestic violence expert witness. Barry Goldstein has agreed to testify for my clients. The best thing that he can do is teach your attorney what to say, what to ask, and what to do. Any client of mine has not lost yet doing that.
Wow.
And when there's things like psych evaluations involved, there usually is, if they're like mine, psych evaluations, parenting evaluations, things like that. Dr. Catherine Barrett is, I literally hire her. We consult every Monday, run all my cases by her. I've been saving this for you, Paxton.
It's for me, everybody.
I told 2 clients since I learned this, and then I'm like, nope, I'm going to save it. And we almost didn't even get today to happen, but it's going to happen. Guess what I learned? If you have had psych evaluations,
yes.
They are, and the court system, the courts make custody orders based on some professional doing tests and running these psych evaluations. Why are they wrong so often? Why is it so hard to find somebody that does the right thing for the kids? Do you know why? Oh my gosh, my mind is like, this is why. Clinicians, therapists, clinical psychologists, they do therapy. We love them. We need them. They believe everyone can do better with therapy. Therefore, they go and recommend reunification therapy. They recommend, they recommend, put the abuser in a 6-week program. Send the kids and the abuser to these brainwashing, abusive, disgusting, and illegal reunification camps. I don't have an opinion at all, do I? That's what these clinicians
you need to
think
have more opinions. Just a
I'm
little
be
bit.
in so much trouble. I did talk to my attorney beforehand. I'm supposed to say, in my opinion. So everything I said is my opinion. I'm going to just say again.
Welcome to Open Session Podcast, where everything is open, including Dana's opinion. Go ahead.
Yes, no problem. But let me give you the contrast. Okay, so we're talking about clinicians. We love them. We need them. They teach us things we don't know. They help us get better. They work us through our trauma. When you're doing something for the courts, there is a difference in a clinical psychologist and a forensic psychologist. You must find a forensic-based psychologist. Why?
Yes, why?
Why? I just learned this. And I study psychology. Like, come on. Oh, my gosh. Because a forensic psychologist will not go recommend therapy and a 6-week program and a 6-month program, and then they get custody, and then they 50-50 after they do these check the boxes. They won't do that until they've ruled out safety, personality disorders, domestic violence. They are the scientists of the psychological field. I am not one. I've learned this. Prove me wrong. I'd love to hear it. If somebody wants to teach me something else, go ahead. I've learned from the best of the best. If you're going to go with a clinician for a psych evaluation, they're not forensically looking through the information and deciding what's safe. No, they actually, so we don't like these parental alienation people. It's disgusting. It's brought about by 70s by a guy who was trying to normalize pedophilia. That's where this whole thing comes from. And it's used as a defense against abuse. So if somebody says he's abusive, then they say, she's alienating the kids from me. And somehow, if someone was alienating the kids, saying bad things about them, that somehow trumps abuse. You'll see it happens to still happens all the time. All of a sudden, all the courts are like, oh, alienation. Oh my gosh, she's talking bad about the kids. Nobody talks about abuse anymore. Why? It's working. It's worked for 30 years. But why?
Okay, that's twisted. That's seriously twisted.
So we have to stop it. And Baxton,
because
I don't know how else to stop it.
puts us. That totally is projection. That is totally turning it the other way. It's misdirection. That's the word I was trying to think of. Right. It's like total misdirection.
Totally. So the courts think they're doing the right thing because it's what they've been told by clinicians for so long.
Yeah, keep the kids with the parent, especially, that parent. Oh, you can't see
50-50 above all else.
And they could be a pervert. So,
and actually you get your kids, even if you are. If right now, standard, sure, because it's better to have 50-50. It's not better. We have the studies, the ACE scores. We know what happens to these kids. Their lifespan is diminished. We have the studies that show this. So if you have a clinical psychologist doing your evaluation, they're going to say, well, all you need to do is check off these boxes and then you're good to go. If you have a forensic psychologist looking through the data and information, they're going to go, well, this is what we want to have happen, but let's see if there's these things in place that stop this person from being safe, stop them from healing and providing a safe environment.
So they're looking at it when it comes to safety from a forensic psychologist standpoint.
Forensic psychologists, sure, yes, safety. They're looking at it from a science. It's a science-based facts. We're not looking at feelings. We're not looking at fair. We're not looking at even. We're not looking at normal and customary. What happens to everybody else around here should happen to you. Science doesn't do that. Science is numbers, it's facts, it's diagnosis, and you really have to look at it this way. You know, I didn't know that these certain diagnoses, there are certain diagnoses that they don't get better from. You can't. They learn how to manipulate
that comes
better.
out though. That's a part of the discussion though, right? That there are certain things.
Nobody really talks about it.
No,
forensics,
they don't. Okay.
They will, but people don't like to say that. But, you know, I've heard people on the stand say, oh, schizoid. People don't know what that is, but that's comes out if you have a forensic. Sometimes you'll see this schizoid diagnosis. It doesn't go away. You can't get better. Narcissist, it doesn't go away. You can't get better. Now, does that mean therapy is unnecessary? Well, it is when they're going to check off the box to say, see, I can have my kids. I've gone to therapy. Wait, I want to give you like the thing I tell attorneys. Like, this is like big. Okay, if you get this guy on the stand, if you get the therapist on the stand saying, I mean, you can sell this for money, Paxton, right here, okay? So you get this, I'm serious. You guys write this down.
I'm just tickled pink that you're here doing this because I love your expressions. Go ahead.
Oh, no. They're perfect. I'm an interpreter for the deaf, and your face signs mean something different when you move your face a certain way.
My daughter, she also does that as well. But go ahead. That's probably why you're making me laugh. I'm seeing your whole face and your whole body's into it.
Go way back.
No.
Yeah.
Go back to where you were. Come on, get closer. Go ahead. There you go. That's it.
So, I don't know what I was going to say.
You're in Seattle and I'm in California. I want to be able to smell your breath all the way over here. Come on,
I'm sure you can smell my breath.
Get closer to the camera. I want you to smell mine too. You'll probably be sick after
that. Oh my goodness. Oh.
All right. No, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You have to remind me what I was saying. So when they're diagnosing if they can get better or not, they'll do it if they check off the box to make it look like they've done what they need to do. But when you get them on the stand, you guys, if you're pro se, you better call me. I'm going to tell you not to go pro se. That means representing yourself. Certain states, especially, I'm going to say don't do that because certain counties will punish you. And anyway, so tell your attorney, you get them on the stand and their therapist says, oh, we've done 6 months of therapy. They're a great, healthy, contributing member to society. They don't have a mean bone in their body. They're fabulous. Get them off the stand, put the abuser back up there, and you ask them, man, I wish I had those notes out here right now. You ask them, call me, I'll tell you on your free consult. You ask them this, you ask, what did you learn about yourself in therapy? What were your faults?
Oh my goodness. Great question.
What about your personality did you learn and how did you change it? What were the steps you took to change it? Paxton, they cannot lie to save their facade. They can't.
No.
They literally can't. Now, they would
implode.
Good.
They would implode because they would have to
they can't
admit that they're a liar.
Right. They can't. They literally can't live in their own skin, in their own body, and say something about themselves like that. This is my experience. Remember, I'm not a mental health professional. So when they can't answer that, now if they're really good, say they're one of those like high IQ, abusive guys or girls, whatever. And they say things like, I learned to not let her boss me around anymore.
That automatically started off wrong, the wrong answer. I have learned not to let her ignorance bother me. Excuse me.
I learned to have boundaries.
Yeah, whatever.
I learned that I can walk away when she elevates her voice. First of all, when you're having an appropriate reaction to an inappropriate behavior being done to you.
Stupidity, you mean?
Yeah, you're not wrong if you raise your voice. I mean, they shouldn't be acting that way to you, but of course the focus has changed to you. Okay, so
I got it. Great question. That's really good.
If they're really good and they say, oh, boundaries, or she's not good, you have to say, okay, this is still blaming everyone around them. This isn't working, judge. Like, I can't get an answer from them. I mean, the judge will notice, like, this person will not answer. So we're not talking about her anymore. What did you learn about you? Well, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not learning anything about me. That is something the judge needs to see. It's hard to bring out. If you don't know how to question, Catherine Barrett, she can teach your attorney what to ask in that field. And Barry Goldstein, that's who you talk to about teaching your attorney strategizing the whole case.
I have a few more questions for you that
Oh my goodness.
others had sent in to you to give answers to. But on the screen, Anastasia is asking, and even after that, are stating judges don't care. Well, what I've come to recognize in doing these shows with individuals who are knowledgeable like yourself is that we can't control outside of what we can control.
I don't like that. You're right, but Paxton, you know what? And Anastasia, he's right. But you know what? I'm going to fight every day until it changes. I am fighting every day to make that change. The judges don't care because the judges don't know. And if your judge knows, and so I do have some clients in some different states and different counties where the judges do not care. Maybe they go to lunch with the father-in-law or the whatever, I don't know, and it's really crooked. Contact Michael Volpe and Megan Fox. They will broadcast your hearing. They will cover your case.
It truly proves to be something that many have found necessary to fight in that arena. What I'm coming to recognize in my short time doing this for a year and talking to so many people is that there are many that don't have the same fight within them. They just want to be with their children.
Yeah.
And so therefore they are often confused because they hear and see the fight, but at the same time, they're scratching their head going like, how did this situation come about? You shed a lot of light how these things happen. But the way you started this whole thing off cannot be ignored. You said the judges in them often miss this because, well, the reality is many who are in this situation were fooled themselves by individuals. So they're going to keep fooling people, but nobody can cheat death. Nobody can cheat justice in the long run. But fighting for people is something that you and Tina, and I have to say, Jackie and others, but you're giving out information that a lot of people have no idea about, wouldn't you say? They have no idea. I mean, I've never heard it. No offense to everybody that's been on my show. I don't want Jackie beating me up because I like her. But I like you too. But I'm just a lot of people. No, I understand. But this is information I know from my audience they need to hear because they're in Anastasia's position. Some are fighters, and everybody, with all due respect, I'm saying this as well as I can. Some are in the arena to throw down and speak in behalf of others. And that's powerful. But there are many that just want peace and quiet and to have their children back and are willing to applaud those who are in the arena. They don't want to be spectators. They want to use their voice. But so many are just overwhelmed. I don't know. You deal with it more than me. There's some people that are just seemingly, to me, overwhelmed by having it be thoroughly unfair, almost obviously unfair, that somebody could manipulate the court system. But it does happen then? Is that the reality of it?
Yeah, that's the reality of it. So all of us want peace. I wish I wasn't talking out about this stuff. I hid for a long time. I've only done 2 lives. I'm afraid what someone would do for me.
Girl. I don't care if it's got to be on my show. No. Not with the information you just dropped right now. And we've been talking 47 minutes.
Let me go.
I couldn't even keep track. I did not keep track of everything I was trying to write down you were saying because I know there are people, right now that watch my shows that need that information.
Yeah.
And they need to watch this back because they're struggling, or like you said, they may have lost that particular hearing, and they need to know
their kids, or they've lost their kids over time.
Technically, lost their children.
But when you're saying like they just want peace, we just want peace. I love my business consulting. Like I love that, super addicted to that. But I cannot do that when I know what I know now. I didn't know this whole thing was happening.
Not everybody could be one of Jesus' apostles. Somebody had to do the other stuff too. Be disciples. So somebody has to be a missionary and in the forefront, and that's you. But somebody else has to, in order for you to be a missionary and go somewhere else, there's got to be a congregation there somewhere. So somebody's got to be the congregation. Somebody got to go do the other work. So I think
my
you're out there you're out there being a missionary. That's great, and that's the mantle that you bear. Yeah. And because you have just dropped important information. You mentioned Tina's name. I can make some postings and put her on my page.
Yeah.
If ever she comes on the show, I can have her on the show. But the reality of it is, she's only one person.
Right.
But what you're doing, everybody, please go take a look at Tina's page. When it multiplies, that's a different story. When you are one person, Dana, who is going to be on multiple platforms and multiple podcasts and other shows, now we're talking about getting some information out, and you'll end up finding more fighters.
Yeah.
And now you've got, forget having a tribe, you're gonna have a village. And a village usually turns into other things much larger, into an entire nation of people speaking out.
And the issue there,
this is amazing what you've taught us today. I'm sorry, please.
Yeah,
go
no,
ahead.
that's okay. It is scary to speak out, and that's because of the abuse that we've experienced, and we know what's coming if we speak, and it is terrifying. Do not, I don't know when we're finishing, but do not drop your protection order. Do not drop your restraining order. Don't tell your lawyer it'll put you in a better position. Don't let your lawyer tell you it'll put you in a better position. Don't let them say it'll make the judge think you're going to get along. Don't go to mediation and negotiate away your protection. Here's the bomb. Were you abused or were you not? If you were,
stick with the facts, right? If you were abused, I mean, now I'm talking like a dad. Was
be the dad.
Did it did happen, right? Okay, so why would you? But
did it happen or did it not? And
welcome to a show that's not legal advice.
Not legal advice. And if
but I'm a dad,
happen,
and I'm saying, please listen to this advice. Give it some serious thought. By having it there, what could you really be stopping?
And honestly, if you don't get one because you weren't prepared and didn't present, I will help you find the evidence for that. That's where people lose out, is they think there's no evidence. I will spend 10 minutes on the phone with you and you'll know there is evidence. You'll have evidence.
You know these stories.
Absolutely.
I'm not in this field, and I have people send me stuff.
Yeah.
And some of the pictures, some of the stuff, it's just horrendous.
Yeah.
This stuff is horrendous, and they have no idea how to present it in court.
Yes, but the problem is you get these attorneys, there are real jerk attorneys that just hang out taking your money and they never file the proper things, or
That's wrong.
I mean, I don't want to even remember, my dad is an attorney, my brother's an attorney. I love attorneys too. I love my attorney. Oh man, she has saved my life, my kids' lives. She's amazing. She's also a judge. But I have a very difficult time finding an attorney. So people ask me, how do I find an attorney? Forget the big list I posted.
One of the questions.
Forget all those questions you need to run through and ask them. If they will listen to you and do what you ask, you want to know the trick question? Ask if they're open to meeting with Barry Goldstein. And if they immediately say no, they're probably pretty cocky. It's a little trick.
Wait, no, so don't get a lawyer that's cocky. No, I'm serious. No.
If they have to show off, I'm going to rip them apart and I'm going to tear them up and they'll never get those kids. There's a reason they're overcompensating.
That's like talking to your ex again then, wouldn't it?
Oh my gosh. So many of my clients end up, you know why? We're like,
they're bragging about what they're going to do and they're actually not going to do anything.
Paxton, like, I like this attorney. This is a good attorney. Oh, you know why? It's because it feels familiar to you. Doesn't mean they're good.
Good point.
They're abusing you the same way.
You need to make a posting like that. That is so cool.
I'm gonna have to watch
that's why it feels. That's why it feels good.
It does.
Right?
And
that's how people end up in rebound relationships. Rebound relationships with a lawyer.
Every job, every friend,
neighborhood,
every lawyer.
Yeah.
Because it feels normal and comfortable to you.
And that will keep you in a cycle of abuse. It may not be the same as it was with the narcissist in your home, but he's going to take advantage of you and not give you. He can't deliver what he's saying he's going to deliver on.
And you've lost.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care. Yeah.
And you won't know till it is too late. I get calls all the time. I get calls of people who haven't left yet, people who are in the middle of it, people who have just finished with their divorce decree, people that have been fighting 7-10 years. It's never too late to do something about it, but it sure is easier to do it sooner than later.
Most of the questions, I have to do this here. I'm going to pull this up here. Some of these questions we didn't touch on. I just want to make sure everybody got their chance to ask you what
Some people are
was on their
messaging me
mind.
saying they can't put their question in. What if your kid is disabled?
Well,
Can you put that one in there?
They still should be able. You can go ahead and answer that, but they still should be able to put their question in. Nothing is here popping up. Let me ask you this real quick here. From Teresa in Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
If you do need, how do we protect against the alienation claim? Now there's some other questions here. I'm just going to start with that one first.
Oh my gosh.
How do you protect against an alienation claim? Somebody's accusing you of being that type of person.
You better call me.
Okay.
Teresa and I have spent hours and hours together.
All right.
She's amazing. But you better call me. Alienation claims, they are not something to mess around with. It's fake. It's false. It was brought up by a guy in the, abuse of your spouse is only even recognized in the 70s. And in the 80s, please answer that question. They're saying, we're not going to skip it. So in the 80s, I'm not going to say you just have to call. I'll give you something. The guy that was trying to normalize pedophilia, that kids just need to accept that people older than them have feelings for these kids. Gross. So they've made up this alienation claim, and all this alienation claim there's arguments about this. I can't explain it to you. It will probably take me a little longer. Alienation claim it's not the definition in the dictionary anymore. Someone wants to argue with me about it. It's not the definition of alienation. It's taken on, it's a title now. It's a phrase. It's a statement. Alienation or parental alienation syndrome or whatever they want to hide it in. They just started changing the word again, this group that promotes this. You guys, right from the beginning, if you accept this alienation claim, first of all, it does not follow due process because it is gender biased. So they can't actually use that. But, I'm not giving legal advice. Second of all.
Wait. We're taking it as advice. That's all. Not legal, but just advice.
Disgusting. Like, you can't win this.
Go ahead.
So honestly, if you have this claim, call me. I'm going to give you the right experts because you need to shut this down. Alienation claim is used by an abuser to distract from the abuse that is real. So the fact that they're claiming alienation is basically your golden ticket. This person's an abuser. Now, how do you show the courts? I can help you do that. You need to do this. I actually stood in front of the courts, we're going to say like 18 times. 2-week trial, claimed as an alienator. I did not lose that. I am not an alienator because I'm not. And I told the judge, you want me to tell you what I'm not doing? Well, I can't do that. I can't prove what I don't do, but I don't do that. The thing that alienators say.
Wow.
I can tell you what I do. I can't tell you what I don't do. Let me tell you what I do.
There you go.
Okay, I'll give you a little punchline. I have not posted
Go
this
flip
either.
it, girl. That's the way to say it.
Here we go.
No. Hey, hold on a second. No, here you go. You flipped it on them, didn't you? You flipped it like a pancake loaded full of butter. You flipped. That was really good. I like that, man.
Get the attention off of you.
Your daddy was a lawyer.
Yes, he did.
Let me tell you what I do, though.
He's in heaven, so he's still telling me. He can do more from there than here. And honestly, stop taking the attention on yourself. You're falling for it. You sit in there like,
dangerous.
No, I didn't. No,
Listen,
I didn't.
You're dangerous. You know what? We had fun in the show prep, but I'm scared of you right now. That was really good. I'm serious. I can't wait to pass that on to some people that write me. That is like the best because how many times have people been in this situation? Listen, you guys better get your 30-minute consultation with her. You better get your 30-minute free consultation.
Better be ready to write quick.
I know everybody wants to have her keep going on, and I have to pivot because there's few more questions here. If you want more, please go to Dana's page. Your Instagram page is what again for us, please, Dana?
Instagram is, I have to always look it up, High Ground Coaching. So that's my Instagram. High Ground Coaching.
How else can they reach you? Anything else?
Yeah. You can reach me at Dana at highgrounddivorces.com. Highgrounddivorces.com is the website. Highgrounddivorces.com. My email is Dana at highgrounddivorces.com. You can go to Tina Swithin's One Mom Battle, click to find a coach. They're all over the country. I'm different. That's all I'm going to say.
Listen, you better brag about your being different. Nobody wants the same all the time.
Okay.
So
if you're ready to
good.
do something and you want to fight and you want to know what the actual government already says is true and correct, call me. I will give you the studies to read. I will give you the stuff. You're welcome. You can do what I do. There's not enough of us to go around. This has to end. We got to stop all this nonsense out there.
And I got to get you on more shows because two. Like you never told me that before. And you just said it now, and I looked at the screen. Excuse me, two. You need to be on 3 shows a month over the next 9 months. That's 27 shows. Chop, chop. Let's get to it. You need to get the word out, young lady. Chop, chop.
Honestly, right. I really do. I'm hiring. I really do need to get the word out because I spend all day on the phone with survivors. I want to protect these babies. You won't believe the things I hear.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Now, this is here comes the marketing moment. This is the marketing moment. You can take this any way you want. Money, not money, whatever. You need to have a survivors tour, a high conflict survivors tribe in which you're recruiting. You're going on as many shows as possible. And I want you tell people, I want you to contact me for your free consultation because I'm recruiting. How am I doing this? I was motivated by Tina. Tina motivated me. So now it's my turn to pay back. You need to contact me because we're going to be a tribe that needs to be reckoned with. And you just promote that. Get you some T-shirts, hashtag welcome to the tribe. I just giving you that right now. Anybody steal that, I'm coming for you because that belongs to Dana. So don't you dare try to steal that and market it yourself. That's Tina's. I just gave her a marketing idea. Whether you use it or not, that's up to you.
Our shirts will all be yellow.
Welcome there you go. There you go. Hey, you know what? I don't know. You're going to have to fight Tina on that. Isn't Tina yellow?
Oh, Tina's yellow, yeah.
Yeah, she's yellow. Yeah, actually, I love
She's lemons. She's lemons.
Lennon, okay. Hey, I've got to get to some things before we end up having to go. So we've gone an hour and 1 minute.
Sorry.
Wait, but I'm far from done. I got to, on the screen, Joy says, we're going to get to some of the questions that are pulling in. Joy says, control is the ultimate high for people with this disorder.
It's like a drug.
Yeah, it's like a drug for them. So we can't control what they're doing, essentially, is what you've been telling us, but we can tell the court the facts and be prepared to present the facts and experts that can help with that. There's some more here. I'm just bear with me. I'm just gonna let everybody know I see you guys and what you're writing. Abuse is real. It may settle for a moment, but it will continue after the narcissist gets their way.
That's right.
The other thing here, I'm gonna just keep reading stuff too. You jump in anytime you want. Yeah, hold that up. Can you right there. Hold it right there. Everybody get a chance to see that post separation abuse pie chart per se. Diagram for you there.
These are the descriptions of what they actually mean. It was just redesigned. It's got a blue trim around the outside now. You can find it on social media.
And that's for
a case for Ace and Tina Swithin. They worked together to redo this.
Okay,
and so this applies to everyone that has gotten away. So once you've gotten away from the abuser, sometimes people report, and I got this from Tina too, is that people report that the abuse sometimes even escalates higher than what it was like when they were together.
Yeah.
Financial abuse, changing your utilities.
Stalking, changing things,
Oh my gosh. Duplicating your cell phone, getting on your internet, changing your accounts.
Hacking email, all kinds of things. Just listen, everybody, keep this in mind. I'm going to throw this out to you, everybody, please. If you don't follow Tina, please do so. If you don't follow Dana, you need to do so. Same thing with Jackie Miller and others that have been on my show. But I'm just going to say this. That chart you just saw, if you get a chance, post it on your page. By all means, to show your support for those, even if this is something you're not going through or have gone through. Post it out there so that others can stumble across it and find that source of information as well.
I'm going to tag Tina. She might jump on just a second.
Look at you starting trouble. Look at you. Listen, I've gone an hour and something. If she comes on, I don't have another 3 hours. I know she will keep talking. And so that's okay. No, you do as you see fit.
I am.
And if she's able to make it. But what I was going to say is this. I got to get to this question on the screen about the kids with disabilities. It says, have you experienced kids with disabilities, I guess, when it comes to this this aspect of high conflict, that can be quite difficult. And that's an understatement when it comes to dealing with that, because so much can be used by a narcissist. You know what I mean? To flip things, right?
Especially when somebody's vulnerable. When someone's, I'm going to put one more person on here. I've got a case for Ace. I've got Tina, and I'm going to bring custody.
What would be funny is if they showed up right now, I'm never going to be able to get off. No, I'm just kidding, because I'm going to ask them so many questions. No, please tag them too. But you mentioned somebody else too. You mentioned the Barry. I don't know if you can tag that
Barry.
guy.
Okay, I will. Okay. I might just do the stop
everybody.
abuse
The information is there.
Stop Abuse campaign. That's Barry Goldstein's, and we're fighting for the Safe Child Act. You guys have heard of Kira's Law, Caden's Law, Julie's Law, Jennifer's Law. That's all Barry Goldstein. Stop Abuse campaign.
Oh, is it?
Individual.
I didn't know that was all him.
Huh? Well, he's written the people. They won't like if I say that probably, but he's written the body of this law. But these guys, Jacqueline Franchetti, Kira's mom, has taken that, and I mean, she has fought so hard. And it's changed. It's different than the Safe Child Act, but it's all to keep our children safe. If you want to join up with that, contact me. Let me connect you with that group. And it's so basic. And anything I hear, I speak with politicians. I mean, I really am out there fighting. So really, truly, they say, isn't that already in place? It's not. Our kids are not protected. Our kids are treated like dogs, like puppies. They're not actually treated like humans. It's the truth. And I'm not going to say this right. Well, I'm going to drop another bomb. Tina, you can check out my page. I have a post where we just invited everybody to write in their stories, and we just took the U.S. government and put it up to the United Nations as dehumanizing women and children in the family court system. So find out more about that at Custody Peace or One Mom's Battle. A Case for Ace has part of it too. And you can join in with that movement. I got more. I mean, I can keep going, but it's real.
I was just wondering, I was just thinking to myself right now, is there ever a moment that you actually go to bed and get sleep?
I have 2 speeds.
Okay, that was not the answer I was expecting you to say. I have 2 speeds. Okay.
On and off.
What 2 speeds do you have, Captain America?
I'm on and off. When I'm asleep, I'm asleep.
Oh my goodness. You have been amazing. 30-minute consultation if you need one. You asked the question in regards to children with disabilities.
Right.
We're going to let you feel free to walk into that door of talking with Dana in private through a consultation to get more information on that.
I do specialize
right now at this moment in time, because we have gone an hour and 6 minutes. I normally try not to go more than an hour and 5. But
we broke it
your
again.
Activity, as Joy is talking about, she is very active here on the screen. She's highlighting about you, her cousin, being very active.
Hi, Heidi.
Others have mentioned a number of things, questions. I have to throw this to you. Here we go. We've touched on it, but I want to ask you this so we are very clear.
Okay.
What should we look for when choosing an attorney? If you can go 1, 2, 3 for people to keep in mind that are in this position, what should we look for when choosing an attorney?
First of all, call me.
Okay.
And I will give you an outline a little bit better depending on your situation. I'm probably always going to tell you that I'm a consultant. Yes, nobody's going to fit the same. I want to hear what thing you want to look for, but
no problem. You're not a paper pusher. You're a people person. So you want to talk to people. We got it. So go ahead. What else?
So first, if you have the ability to stream cases from home in Washington, we can just go on your county courthouse and just click and start watching some family court cases. Write down the names of the attorneys, the ones that are good. If your courts are open, we're not that open up here in Washington, but if you can go into the courthouse, go sit in the back of the courthouse. Go find someone who's doing what you know you need and you like. Yeah. So that would be a really great way. Ask people like me or in a community, go on One Mom's Battle, and then your state page. You have to do an application process, but get on your state page with One Mom's Battle with other people that are going through or have been through what you're going through. You can write up any question you want as a private page. Just remember that everything is, how do you say, subpoenaable in court. So even a private page can be subpoenaed. They probably won't, but they could. But you can even just DM them and they'll post it for you. Ask any question you need on your case in there. Ask what lawyers are good at this or that, or child therapists or whatever. Or call the coach in that area. Call me and I'll find you someone too. So number one, visit a courthouse or watch things online or streaming.
No, number one is calling you. Number one, they got to call you.
That's just the blanket. That's like the title here. Call me and I'll find you.
Get out of bed, call Dana. Get out of bed. Go to bed, call Dana.
When my phone rings, I'm like, ooh, I'm busy. My kids are like, Mom, don't you wish you had someone to talk to? Oh my gosh. So I get, you know.
Okay, now we're unveiling Dana behind the scenes. Okay, so they need to go to a courthouse or stream court cases so they can watch the lawyers in action.
Right. See what you like. Yep. Ask someone who's been through what you've been through by joining a support group, friends of friends. Ask someone. Don't just take it, oh, I heard this person's good. No, don't. It's not enough. You want to know someone that's gotten results. And the third, like, this can't really be like in writing as the third, but ask, will you talk to my divorce coach? Are you open to learning about the new research? Because if they're not, they're going to look stupid in a few months when this all comes rolling out. And you're going to be the hero, like, see, my client told me all that stuff is true.
So maybe the person has to say, so let's say it's me. So I would have to, and I have you as a divorce coach. I would have to tell my lawyer, if I chose the lawyer, now I'm putting together a team so that I can protect myself and my children. And my divorce coach comes along with this team because that's where my money's going. And I need both of you to work together.
Now, Tina would say, don't you tell anybody that you're working. And in some cases, I say, don't mention my name.
That was actually my number one plan. It's like, I ain't telling him nothing. I start saying things that you tell me to ask him, and he never knows you exist.
So I should be their secret weapon generally, but I'm actually, as a coach, I'm supposed to be their secret weapon, but I'm doing something a little bit
woman
different.
Behind the scenes.
I should be in your pocket. No one should know. But lately, because there is so much happening right now, I have been talking to attorneys for these clients. They say, why have I never heard of these studies? Where do I find them? Well, I don't know. You're the lawyer. It's the U.S. Justice Department. Here's some links. But you don't have to use me. Who am I? I'm your coach. I'm your consultant.
Okay, you can't be on the show for over an hour and then all of a sudden at the end go like, oh, but
I'm just saying the attorneys.
Let me be humble and say I'm nobody.
I'm saying the attorneys are like, she's a Joe Schmo. I don't need to talk to her. Fine,
you're supposed to walk in and go like, no, I've walked with Tina. I know exactly what I'm talking about, okay? You guys are going down. You guys are going down. That's what you're supposed to say.
I do, and you're right. But your attorney's going to go, I'm not talking to her. Who's she? That's what the attorney's going to say.
You know what you need? You need in your wallet a picture of Tina that you know, like you would show your driver's license. You
got my paper somewhere over there.
You need to just open your wallet and flip it out like you're the FBI and just show a picture of Tina and go like, do you really want to go down this road with me? And then they'll go like, oh no. Whatever you want, Dana, whatever you say, we'll do it. What's the research? All right.
Well,
enough of me goofing off.
I do find that though, if you ask your attorney, are you open to meeting with Barry Goldstein? I've paid him for a consult. That's a way to go. He'll do an hour consult with your lawyer and he'll say, here's the facts, here's the studies, this is the research. And it works every time. It's the thing that you guys that I'm talking to right now, the hard thing is to convince your attorney to not be so cocky and be willing to listen. So this is what Barry's told me to tell my clients, and I do. I tell my clients to tell their lawyer, before you tell me no, will you please just speak to him? I'll pay you for your time.
All right, I got 2 more questions. We're gone almost an hour and 15 minutes because, of course, I just won't stop talking. So here we go.
Of course.
Ready?
Yes.
How do you respond to your children when they hurl insults at you that you know are the words of your ex?
That is a very good question. That happens. My kids did not do that, but that does happen a lot. Or sometimes it comes out when they're sad or mad. If you're the safe parent, you're going to be the one that they say things to. So I would like to know more.
No, I'm sorry. That was really juicy. At the very end, you said when you're the safe
parent, you're the safe parent, you're the one they're going to lash out at.
So maybe we need to not take it personal and recognize that we're the safe one and commend them for opening up to us, maybe? I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, so it is painful, especially when you're hearing all this. You know, they file all these declarations. These abusers file all these declarations so that we have to read all these horrible things they say about us that aren't true over and over, and we have to respond. We have to internalize. So it's hard when you hear it coming from your kids too. So, but it is really important, especially with alienation claims looming. So there are some phrases that depending on your situation, depending on the age of your kid, depending on the drama around that happening, the timing. Are they getting anxious? They have to go see their other parent. Are they anxious because they just came back? They're overtired and they're over hungry. Depends. So the number one thing that I've learned to help your kid be healthy is to keep them feeling. So think of a feeling question. And you always want it to be a question, not a statement. But you do have to learn to stand up for yourself at the same time. Like, it's not okay for you to talk to me like that. I am sorry that you feel that way. That's a lot of feelings to feel. It sounds like you're frustrated. I would probably be frustrated too. How does that feel when you hear something like that? Dad says you're blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry Dad said that to you. But how did you feel when Dad said that? That kind of thing. Keep them in their body. I don't know how else to say that, you know?
I have to, because you said that, you put me in a position that I literally have to do this. I'm thinking that maybe they should have gave you a show instead of Oprah because you're on fire. All right, so here we go. Last question. Here we go. Okay. Our last statement question. I'm just going to read something to you here. Okay. How to best respond to your kid's request to change the parenting plan when it states you can't discuss it and they can't request changes?
The kids can't request changes? Okay, I think I got that. So it depends on the age of the kids, depends on the state you're in, depends on the county you're in and which judge. So if your child's requesting custody changes, parenting plan changes, parenting time, I guess is what we're supposed to call it. Never call it visitation. So if it's parenting time, first of all, why are they even talking about it and why do they know what parenting time is? That's my question. You can get in trouble just for calling it parenting time. But a lot of time, I mean, maybe what this person is talking about is, I don't want to go. I want to stay here. I don't like this. Is there domestic violence in the past that has been involved? And probably there is if they're on the show. You're not going to like this answer, Paxton. None of you guys are going to like this either, because the straight out bottom line answer, and I tell you, if you're my client, is you can't say or do anything. You have to get your child to someone that is listened to and respected by the court, which is crazy. We're their parent. We're not allowed to report abuse. We're not allowed to say our kid doesn't want something. If you say that, they'll go alienation, check. She's talking to them about the parenting plan. Mm-hmm. She's telling them to ask for more time. So don't do it.
A person can be labeled as the manipulator in that position.
It might have nothing to do with you, and you're probably right. And if your kid is asking that, there's probably a very good reason. So I do have some steps. Call me. Go on my website. Request a consultation. It'll say schedule. Request services, and you'll choose the 30-minute consultation. I can, I'm doing here, I will tell you as much as I can.
Follow up to that question. Everybody running out of time here, so I'm trying to cram this last bit in here. Follow up to that.
Yes.
What phrases to arm your 9-year-old with when their father insults you on his parenting time?
That's not okay. And do you know about this?
As the adults, we know it's not okay, but sometimes we can't do anything about what's not okay.
Yeah. We can, we will. We just can't do it right then, right?
Yeah, we just can't do it right then. Yeah. Just sometimes we got to choose the battle that we.
Right. So your child should have a therapist, hopefully has a therapist, and needs to tell that to the therapist. So when they say something, also when they're calling you names, I'm still thinking about the question before. That sounds like a good thing we speak to Becky about, whichever therapist that is. Oh, let's write that down. So do you have your journal? Let's go write that. You can draw a picture and then you can remember what to talk to Sarah about, you know, whichever the therapist name is.
Right.
You need that. Now, if your abuser has blocked access to therapy for your child, I sound like I'm crazy saying that. Probably 50% of the time. You don't get to take them to the therapist. What? Tell me how that's in the best interest of your child. Anyway, you must find someone else. I got a list of suggestions. You can shoot down some, but you got to pick some of where you could take your child that they could tell this to, or who you could have their child tell this to, and it's not you.
All right. I'm sorry to be rushing all these into you at the last minute.
Keep going.
We was an hour and 19 minutes, about to be an hour and 20 minutes. So I'm trying to get this last bit in because I refuse to give up because, well, you and I are fighters, so we refuse to give up. That's how we got the show on in the first place.
I know.
But you are coming back because I've got other stuff to ask you that I didn't even touch on today, which are similar to what I'm asking you now. But this real quick, here we go. How to best document insults. I don't know what this is, but PP deviations, abuse, referrals, missing school meetings, everything. That was from Anik. I believe I'm saying that right. How to best document these aspects. What's some quick advice before we have to go now on how a person go about documenting things? Is it journaling? Is it something electronic too? What do they need to do outside of, definitely you need a 30-minute consultation with Dana, but go ahead.
And asking this question tells me you are ready. You need to stop doing it on your own. You're ready to have a coach, have a consultant. That's me. Because you wouldn't know to ask me this otherwise. So I'm guessing the PP, so the parenting plan deviations is happening from the other parent, and abuse that's continuing on. Referrals,
sorry, no, refusals. Maybe I said it wrong.
Refusals.
PP deviations, abuse. It says refusals. That's what it says.
Refusals.
Missing school meetings. Then it says everything.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go all the way back to the beginning. So I want to know, like this list you have, if that's your, I will talk to someone until I can get a clear category, like maybe 5, like this category. And then that is what I would document, and I'd pie chart it or graph it. But it's got to be things like this, like, so the parenting plan, I'm guessing it's like parenting time. No, I don't know. So if they're not showing up for school meetings, you say out of 10 school meetings, they showed up to 2. If it's an IEP meeting or 504 meeting, you're going to have that document from the school that says, and it's signed, it's official actually, it says who's in attendance. So make sure you have that sheet, who's in attendance. When you make a graph, a chart, an Excel, whatever, you need the hard copy of the thing you got your information from behind.
An attached copy with that.
Right.
Okay.
On paper or digitally. Okay, so I didn't say this, but yeah, for the court. But honestly, do you know your job's to convince your attorney first? Your attorney doesn't know if what you're telling them is right or not.
Well, yeah, he's got to be able to make a defense, and if he don't understand it, he's useless to you.
They're generally going to not believe you at first. It's true. I hate to say it, but the way you present your information to your attorney is going to determine the type of attorney representation you're going to have. So if you do this stuff beforehand or during, you're going to save thousands of dollars. I did not do that. I showed up with 4 huge tubs of papers.
Okay, so I just got to throw this in. So we're not talking about just being passionate about something. We're talking about, as you started off at the beginning, a factual-based argument of what is taking place can trump any. It can literally override, most of the time, what they are deviously doing and saying or smearing you on. Because if you can turn around and say, no, this is actually what's happening. No, see, this is what's really, I have it documented. Or as Joy says, document everything.
You know, it's crazy. You can document everything, present it to the judge, and they still are like, so it's the way you document and how that is presented.
Okay, because that was my next question. So what are we talking about? But you just said, so the way we document and how it's presented.
Right.
So we have to do our homework. We have to do the research. We need to do what we must in order to protect children and ourselves.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put up a link to, this is going to be golden. You're going to love this. So there's this link last week of Megan Fox and Michael Volpe. They're the forensic investigators and reporters. uncovering the corrupt system, the payoffs and paying off guardian ad litem. They had a roll. They recorded the meeting where these guys, these attorneys and stuff, were admitting to the $30,000 they're being paid off, stuff like that. So if I botched that story, I mean, it's close, something like that. Anyway, they posted this on their podcast they did last week. The very beginning, Megan Fox has it's another platform that I don't know, but I'm going to get it for you. And she put a little nugget you can download for free: how to organize your materials to present to your attorney or the press.
Wow. Okay, we have got 1 hour and 24 minutes.
Oh man!
Go ahead and matter of fact, in the show notes, in the comments after I upload this, feel free to put that information in.
Okay.
You know, the information you put here, you're gonna please, by all means, please repeat that information in the comment section once I upload this over within the next 15 minutes when we're done here. I'm gonna upload it. That information is there, and anything you could think of, feel free to always come back to the Open Session podcast page. Put it in the comments. But please make sure I know you're going to do this, but please make sure you leave how people can reach you. I need people to be able to reach you, and then you can, tell them to go whatever direction they need to go in. And if they need to talk with Tina or other people.
They probably can't get a hold of Tina, but I will get you the information you need.
Come on,
I didn't answer someone's question on
you wear yellow too, so it'll be okay. They can get a hold of you.
Yes.
But
hey, what
go ahead.
You need to say
your
to
last
parent,
thoughts before I have to go.
I feel bad that there's what does this child say when the other parent is disparaging you? You can say, please don't talk about mommy that way. Or I don't like it when you talk about mommy. Or if it's dangerous, which it usually is, they just need to be quiet and not say anything, usually, if it's an unsafe situation. And then when they get home, they can journal it and take that to their therapist with them.
Everybody, please make sure you get a hold of Dana. And others. There's coaches that fit every personality and every situation. That's the whole point of us having Open Session podcast, is for you to be able to meet them and learn from them so that you can protect yourself and your children. Thank you so much for doing this.
You're welcome.
And I want you to know, this is the first time ever doing a show exactly like this. This is the first day we've ever had like this, where the internet literally was being rebooted here, and all the servers and everything was being done, and I was literally helpless, and we were still able to get this going. You will be back because I say so. I'm going to put that in your head so that you're like, where did I get that idea from? You will be back, and we will, what we're going to do is we're going to put together something in which, I'll tell you more in private. I'm not going to say it now. But we're going to put something together that we're going to have some more time to do this. We started almost an hour late, so we cut into our time. You are a very special woman who not only are you intelligent, but I know you play a lawyer on TV. That you could pull that off. You literally could be that kind of a person that everybody will think, oh, she's a lawyer. You have been really good at helping a number of people today. Last set of words that you can pass on to anyone and everyone that's encouraging for them to keep in mind. Dana, the floor is yours.
I would say never settle and never give up hope. It's never too late. And if you still haven't left yet and you're wondering if it's the right thing to do for you and for your kids, it's never too late. Staying does not fix anything. I did it differently, and I can see in hindsight that the sooner you're gone, the better, and that it is scary, that there are certain things you can do. And honestly, this might sound bigger than me and bigger than all of us, but it is changing. The system is changing. It is broken. It was meant to be broken. It was standing up, and we are definitely taking a stand for our kids. And read, don't go into your hole and say it's too overwhelming, I can't do it. If you don't want to read, talk to someone. If you don't want to talk to someone, read. I can look up domestic violence support places in your area. You don't have to go live there. You can just go, and they have resources there to talk to people about that. Get your protection order in place if it's necessary in your situation. Don't hand your kids over. If somebody's unsafe, you fight until you can get them protected. And there are ways to do it. I'm not going to bypass the radical acceptance. It doesn't always work, but there is always something else you can try and something you can do. And then you can sleep at night knowing, I say that for myself and to my clients, what can you do today to help you sleep at night? No matter what happens, you will sleep tonight knowing you did all that you could. And that's my goal, is to help people do that. So come join my tribe. Highgrounddivorces.com.
I don't know. Your tribe's turned into a village. Your village is going to be turned into a nation at the rate that you're going.
I do have a village. I do have a village.
You and I survived the internet today, but it was all your fault because you're too much of a fighter. You broke the internet, and I couldn't go on. It was the first time that ever happened. No, I'm just it's not your fault. I accept full responsibility for everything that goes wrong, and I want you to take full credit for everything that goes right, because you were truly worth us both fighting together to get this show on today. No one, other than God, no one else knows what we went through to try to. And you were such a sweetheart to be patient as I was trying to figure out what was going on over here. You are an exceptional woman who is a force to be reckoned with the support and with the direction that you got from Tina. It's amazing. So everybody, please take a look at all the information and the postings that will come after I upload this. All right, I'm out. Goodbye to all of you for now. Thank you so much. And you and I will be in contact with one another because I got something else I have in mind for us to do together. Thank you, everybody. Take care, Dana.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for watching. Bye-bye.